This is Ross Bain with Roleplaying Public Radio. This is RPPR episode 132, post-Gen Con wrap-up 2016! Woo! There we go. And we're breaking this episode up into three segments. This is the first segment. You hear with Faust, Dan, and Michelle. Because there's a lot of people from RPPR who went up there, and I don't want 12 people talking at once, so we'll just do this in nice little segments, and I'll put a little bit of vaporwave in between each segment. So.
What's everybody got against vaporwave?
Exactly. It only broke your CD player. And
Yeah, no, but there's a story to it.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways.
Seems appropriate.
Yes. So I think this Gen Con has been the best for RPPR in maybe ever. Certainly.
It was the best for Thrilling Intent and also the first.
Yeah. That's kind of all right. Yeah.
Yeah, the bar's been set pretty high for you guys, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. It is, astronomically high.
And yeah, certainly Dan and Michelle, you guys had a great time too.
Yeah.
Always.
Always a good time. You know.
Just to give you guys a brief overview of what we're going to be having. We've already posted a couple panels from Gen Con on Game Designer Live's workshop, Patreon panel. Those are already up. We also have a panel on red markets. Caleb will be Caleb talked mostly, and I said words. And also Laura, who is the editor for it, from the Technical Difficulties podcast. Go other RPG podcasts, yay!
Yay!
And we also have, of course, the 2-hour RPPR panel meetup with Ross Payton impersonation contests, questions from the audience,
and Shark Punch,
which is, I don't know how that's going to turn out in audio form. It's more of a visual game. We also recorded some other things, fortunately, Noah from RPG Exchange recorded the Luzaki panel on how to roll winning dice, which you look so chagrined. Luzaki's a legend in the industry. He is the guy who game science dice, sharp edge dice, and that's going to be great. We have 2 Delta Green panels that I've already sent one to the Unspeakable Oath, so they'll be posting on their podcast soon. I'll put a link up to that, and I'll get the next one to them pretty soon. We have another Adam Scott Glancy game, which should be up by the time you listen to this. The Wounded, World War I soldiers in a hospital who... random mutilation table.
Oh, boy.
Which was used to great effect. Let's see here. I was also on a panel for New Look Crouching Horror that the Drunk and Ugly should have posted or should post soon. And let's see here. What else? I got to play in a Delta Green game, 2 Delta Green games run by Dennis Detweiler.
Oh, my God.
One was going to be posted on Unspeakable, and the other one is Impossible Landscapes Game 3.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
If you're on the Dennis Detweiler's Patreon, you can listen to them now. We will hold off posting them on our PPR Actual Play until the campaign is written and published, so it may be a while. Let's see.
It's really good. I played in it, too.
So I think that's it for our recorded content. Of course, that's not counting what...
the
Third Wheel.
At Third Wheel / Thrilling Intent, I was also on the Patreon panel with Ross. And then on our own side, we had a panel about running a tabletop series on YouTube and just general best practices and how to get that all set and ready. And then we had another panel about rules because we are very much... all about
very tight fidelity, the rules, lots of rules arguments.
Exactly. More rules, better.
Yeah,
no.
More rules, better.
We're all about either breaking the rules or making rules, depending on what suits the story best.
Yeah. I'm not surprised you haven't switched to Phoenix Command already.
Yeah, we're considering. It's in the works. It's in the works.
Windage. Remember?
Yeah, we're changing Thrilling Intent to a GURPS, actually.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Which edition?
I don't know. I don't know enough about GURPS to continue this joke.
I appreciate your honesty so much.
I think that's true for most people.
The current edition is 4th, by the way. That's the answer.
That's the one, then.
But there's the hardcores who prefer 3rd. But those people, we don't talk about them. So
see that the edition wars went outside of D&D.
Oh yeah, oh boy, they fight so hard because the stakes are so small. I mean, it's kind of fascinating to look at edition wars of smaller RPGs. I mean, in D&D, it's just aggravating, but it's like fascinating from an anthropological point of view. But anyway, we're digressing.
Gen Con!
Gen Con!
Gen Con!
So, actually, hold up 1 second. Okay, so Dan and Michelle, what was your Gen Con like overall? Dan, I guess.
Well, this was our third year going to
Yep.
Gen Con. I felt that while I did enjoy myself, it was a great con, and I was so happy to see people that I only see at Gen Con, and you are all great. I also feel that it was not as good as it could have been because,
Okay.
well,
Yeah, I mean, it's fine to be honest. I mean, this is like,
Sure.
how do we let's have a post-mortem discussion of fun so we can maximize fun
Yes,
for next
all right,
year.
go
So,
for
yeah.
it.
well, it's last year. For those of you that were there and remember, and how ragged I looked by the end of the weekend because I tried to run 3 games and book all the events that I would ever want to be in. And then I was just like, oh, I had so much fun, but I don't know if all that fun was worth it. And
At what cost fun?
yeah. And then this year I was like, okay, I'm going to play in one game that I haven't been in before so that I know how the rules work. And then I'm going to do the meetup. And then I'm just going to rely on the group me and the announcements thread and all that other fun stuff to just carry me through the weekend. And then I was the walking parable of the dog with 2 bones. So it'd be like, oh, someone announced a thing on the group me. I'm going to rush and try to get to this game. Oh, the game's now full. Oh, dang it. I just left
But
the
you
panel.
didn't use the grouping to be like, save me a seat, did you?
Yeah,
okay,
In one
yeah.
instance I did.
Oh, one
Ended up
instance.
not working.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Well, whoever ran that game was a bad. What up? Well, jeez.
Okay, part of that was my fault.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Because he's like, Sean's running this game and go and, save my seat for me. And I thought he meant our Sean, and he meant a Sean that I've never met before. And so I got there, and I was like, I'm not going to go sit at a table full of strangers. Sorry, I lost you your seat.
Well, also, I
Totally
was
my fault.
rushing to get there because
You had no generics.
I had no generics.
So he's
and-
waiting in line anyway.
Oh, you're talking about official events, not like RPPR.
Well, that was an official
Okay.
event, but it was
Yeah.
put in the announcements. It's like, hey, 2 people haven't shown up yet.
oh,
And so
okay,
then I was
okay,
just
okay.
like, yeah, let me get my generics and I'll be late, but I'll crash your game.
Okay.
I tried to help, and then I failed horribly, just terribly.
All right.
Crash and burn.
Yeah, okay, that happens.
But-
I mean,
but-
if it's an official event,
It
I
was-
mean, that's a little different than.
But
Right,
at the same
exactly.
time, though, I left
Yeah.
a panel to go to try to make that.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I missed out on a thing to get something else that I thought I wanted, and then I lost both things.
Sure.
And that happened more than once over the weekend.
And now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, no, it is kind of, it is hard to make these kind of distinctions because there is a fog of fun, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
So-
especially like doing the Fire on Demand magic stuff that Bill and I was doing throughout the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
It was like,
Did you get a lot of magic in then?
Oh yeah, we
Okay.
got 3 different tournaments in, but one of them we misunderstood the format, and so we were just like, oh, we're going to meet up for people for dinner after we're done with this because it'll only be
Wrong.
a couple of hours. No, it ended up being 5. So
That's happened
hours.
before, yeah. There are, yeah. So, Michelle, any other?
I had a blast. I thought it was the greatest time. I had the first year, we scheduled no events, and that was fine. We got to look around, and that was probably good for a first year.
It is overwhelming if
Right.
you're not used to those kind of cons.
And then last year, I
We'll
think,
get you, don't worry.
last year I think I had a couple events. I don't even remember now. And then
Yeah.
this year I scheduled 5 and the meetup, and I thought that was a really good balance. I had one in the morning and one in the evening, and all day. It was good. I had
Yeah.
stuff to do. I had a good time.
I mean, yeah, there is. I mean, even now when I go to Gen Con, there will be times I'm just passing by something like, oh God, I wish I could have done that. That looks so fun.
Yeah.
Everything from various tournaments to be like, oh look, they're playing Aerodrome, which is about fighting biplanes in World War I, but they have cool little models, and it looks
Oh, you're
so
talking
cool.
about the ones that the models are on the expendable antenna?
Yeah, exactly.
Show
Yeah.
different elevations.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly, and you see that feeling happens like 1,000 times at Gen
Yeah.
Con because
Yeah.
every time you're passing, like, whoa, I want to do, and so it is the dog with two bones. You're just like going back and forth, but you have to, you just have to make a decision. It is
Yep.
kind of the tyranny of fun.
Tyranny.
So I like putting fun into other things. And in case you notice,
Yes.
it's fun. So Foss, this is your first Gen Con, please.
All right, so that's basically my Gen Con experience summed up in 3 words or less.
Yes.
No, it was going into it. Ross and everybody else at RPPR was like, "Yeah, it's a lot. Expect a lot. It's going to be nuts." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, okay, nuts. I'll
Yeah.
expect that. I understand." And then I got there, and I did not understand, not even in the slightest, but like in a good way.
Right.
It was completely and wholly overwhelming, and I only had two panels scheduled, and then 2 games scheduled, and a meetup. So I guess I had a couple things.
5 things.
5 things. That's not a couple. How did I do all that? But it was very much a constant, am I going to be on time kind of thing. And I'm just like sprinting almost everywhere.
Yeah, if it's your first time, especially, like, you just getting the lay of the land, the actual
Yeah.
physical geography.
Right.
Because there's fucking 3 Marriotts now, so.
Yeah.
The JW.
Yeah, that was a fun thing. Yeah, I had a mix-up there where I tried to go to the Marriott, and I went to the other Marriott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was that for Impossible Landscapes?
Yes, that was for Impossible
I
Landscapes.
remember, because that was a sprinting time.
And Gen Con was even confused about Union Station and Crown Plaza.
Yeah, that's true.
They're the same building, but then they're not. They're across
same,
the street.
It's the same building, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this, like, on your tickets, it'll be like Union Plaza or Crown Station. And you're just like, what?
Just stand in between the 2 buildings. That's where it is.
Yeah. It's and there is that kind of like risk that you're gonna screw up. I mean,
Yeah.
that's I think maybe one event in the morning, one in the afternoon. Period.
Yeah.
Definitely don't book events like back to back.
Oh God, no.
Oh, God, no. Yeah, that's the one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the one thing I at least had like the foreknowledge to avoid.
Yeah.
I was like, I do not feel like dealing with that. I don't want to corral myself and 3 other people into being on time.
So what were like the most fun events for you? I mean, as your first time.
Oh my God. I'd say the most fun event was the fan meetup. I really enjoyed meeting everybody. The
third wheel.
Third wheel, yeah.
Yeah.
The third wheel / Thrilling Intent fan meetup. It was mind blowing. I got to see everybody cosplaying characters from our show. And-
What?
Yeah, cosplay. What?
Cosplay of like your characters?
Yeah, of our characters. It was
Wow.
It was nuts. It was so cool. Thank you, everybody. And then aside from that, the fun was just like the sheer amount of things to do. Like that was fun. Even if I didn't do things, the idea that there were all these cool things happening around me, that was fun.
Again, it is a different vibe. One thing about Gen Con that I really like is that it's as a tabletop gaming con, it's much more focused on like fans and member attendees interacting with each other. Because like I've been to like New York Comic Con. I mean, I was only there for like 1 day, so I didn't get like a huge thing. But I've been to like other comic conventions. It seems like there's it's much more passive. Like you're there to go to meet celebrities or buy things and stuff like that. And it's in Gen Con, no, it's like you're going to be fucking gaming with other people and hanging out with other people.
It's a very communal community type of thing.
Yeah.
So Dan, I know my favorite event was actually the RPPR fan meetup, which you weren't there at.
I tried. I failed at scheduling. I ran into Bill and Michael, the awesome artist, and they're both like, the RPPR meetup is going on down this hall, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I gotta be somewhere. Sprinting past both of them.
What did you have to be at? That was
I think it was a Red Dragon Inn thing that I ended up getting called to.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, that was another thing. Red Dragon Inn tournament.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll talk about games that we played.
Yeah.
That we bought a ton of stuff, but I think everybody bought so much stuff that if we just talk about what we bought, that would be the episode. We'd be just like,
if
I
capitalism
bought
was a muscle, I'd be ripped.
but tagline of the episode. But I think we will talk about new games that we have actually played. I mean, we're not necessarily like brand new games, but like
Right.
games new to us that we have played and talk about. So Dan, Michelle, what were you guys' favorite events, favorite moments?
I mean, probably since I had so few official events, it was probably the RPPR meetup was really fun for me.
Definitely. Yeah, that was really cool. Like a lot of people showed up. Like a lot.
Yeah, no, we had over. I mean,
I didn't count.
we
the
had
tickets.
45 tickets,
Dude, nice.
but
And
that
not
was
everybody-
not everybody had tickets. I know I never get tickets for any panel I ever go to, really, because I am a horrible monster. But I think
So here's the secret Gen Con tactic.
Right.
Yeah.
We were talking to someone who said that they buy tickets for all the RPPR events because they're free, just to
Yeah.
give you the tickets, just so you'll get more
yeah.
room for it next year.
And
I'm like,
we're
well, that's
just-
awesome. Like,
we're
why
so-
have we never done this? Like, why does not?
I mean, we
force
filled
us
the
to do
room
this?
up basically. Like it was.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had someone try to like pay me with I was collecting all the tickets, and someone handed me a ticket. And I was like, "This says $2 on it. You take that back."
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't have a ticket for this. I'm like, I don't care. Sit.
Yeah.
Stay. It's fine.
Please don't give us generic tickets
God,
for
no.
those because they don't like that. Actually, when you're like,
Really?
you're charging money for a free event. What up?
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
So they have their own bureaucracy. So,
But also, if you're not sure if you can make it, just don't buy the ticket and then just show
show
up
up.
anyway.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, for
We
free events, it's
appreciate
not
you.
really a big
Yeah.
deal. But yeah, the RPPR meetup was amazing. We have a full recording of that.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
I was actually a few minutes late to it.
I remember
Yeah.
following this story on the group me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't even. It was such a blur. I don't even remember why I was late. Oh no, I think I came. I was coming from dinner. I was having dinner with the Archery people at India Garden, which is like east of the Columbia. It's east of the Monument Circle, which is like, yeah, it's about 10 blocks away. It's a ways from the Crown Plaza. So
Yeah.
I was a little late, and Caleb and I ate there, and
Rushing
then,
with a belly full of Indian food was probably
actually we Ubered.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so
There seemed to be a problem with Uber people not knowing where
Things.
the convention
Yeah.
center
That was
is.
true. That was true. One thing, another survival tip is that get Uber on your phone, even if you live in a city that doesn't have Uber, so you have it ready to go, and then just expect for the Uber to be terrible.
Pretty much. You will not have to walk.
But it was just incredibly humbling, and I was incredibly
Taking
grateful.
that Uber?
Yeah, well, no. The meetup, Jesus.
Meetup.
You. No, the meetup was incredibly humbling, and I was eternally grateful. And I didn't even mention the big news. We won the Silver Innie for Best
Woo!
Podcast.
Yay! Congratulations,
I rolled that
RPPR.
over
You
radio.
beat us.
You didn't even submit, did you?
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you won.
Yes.
You expended one additional hug.
Another highlight was actually meeting a lot of other podcasters, and I met James from the motto from One Shot, and he,
nice.
and he mentioned that there's not I don't think I've ever seen an actual play podcast even nominated for an Emmy.
What?
So I think maybe we should start petitioning the Emmys to add a separate category for actual play podcasts.
Do it.
So
Definitely.
Critical Role can win it,
Yeah. Well, okay. Actual play podcasts, except Critical Role. I think that's a fair category.
Wait, what?
That's like the Ennies without Pathfinder. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, an Ennies that actually has diversity?
Well, this year actually did have a lot of diversity because it was Dracula dossier for the most part.
Yay.
So there is some variety. It was the Ken Hite, awards this year. Ken Hite.
Can I?
I mean, one
yeah.
out of how many years that Paizo's just kind of run the table?
That's true. That's true. But we let's see here. So I think maybe that's a discussion for a future episode, whether or not there will be there should be an actual play podcast. Because
That doesn't allow Critical Role.
that doesn't allow. I mean,
That's cheating.
they're super popular. They have backing of Geek and Sundry, which is
That's
backed by
super
Felicia Day, which
cheating.
Hollywood, professionalism and all that other crap. I mean, it would be that Critical Role and then Harmon Quest is the silver.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, so-
Fuck. All right, maybe let's not petition for this.
But maybe they'll forget one year and we can sneak in.
Right? Can you call it an amateur podcast? Can it be, specifically an amateur something?
Must generate this much
We're not
revenue or
amateur
less.
though. RPPR is getting money now.
Yeah,
so,
RPPR is not.
So
amateur.
neither third
Give me
wheel.
enough money to financially support one person.
And help pay for everyone else's Gen Con. I mean,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah. At least John and Aaron's, because I pay them for doing stuff on the Patreon. By the way, anyways,
Thanks, John and Aaron.
yeah,
I get paid a little too.
yeah, and Dan does too. Yeah, sorry. Anyone who does stuff for specifically for Patreon gets some money. So yeah, I forgot. I almost forgot to. Aside from the meetup, which is amazing,
Right.
Thank you, and we'll have the full. We won't talk too much about it because I'm sure everybody in the other segments is going to be talking about it as well.
Yes.
And we have the whole thing recorded, so you can just listen to it. It has a Ross Payton impersonation contest, which I lost,
great.
obviously.
Terrible.
And you don't have to be so eager to do that. You could just be like, I was close. I mean,
I was one of the judges. I have to be honest.
Wow. All right. I'm not the platonic ideal of Ross. All right. That's something I'm going to. That's
You
actually
got something to shoot. Yeah, you got something to shoot for now.
Yeah.
There you go.
But this was the year a bunch of people from RPPR tried True Dungeon for the first time.
Yes.
Yes.
And you two were part of it. So,
Yes, we were.
And they were set up in Lucas Oil Stadium, which was...
Yeah, so I'm only vaguely familiar on what True Dungeon is. Explain this to me.
Basically, it's like a live D&D game.
It's like
campaign, I guess. I don't know.
It's not a LARP, per
Not
se.
a LARP.
Not
you don't have
a
to dress
LARP?
up.
Okay.
Not a live action role play. But basically, there was a group. We had 11 in our group. We had an extra. So you can have about 10 in your group.
Okay.
It's like a
Each.
7-room dungeon delve.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
it's
Well, like,
real
the
life.
monsters are actors that are, like,
Yes.
costumed and have makeup and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So our first monster was a succubus, and she got up and said a little speech. And then we were combat based. There's combat and puzzle based, and so we did have to solve some puzzles, but we were mostly combat. Well, the combat's
Okay.
done on a table, and it's basically like shuffleboard. You got a picture of the monster, and you slide your token up to land it on a spot on the monster.
Okay.
And then they tally up the points, and you find out if you defeated her.
and you can use teamwork on it as well. Like I was playing the druid, so my melee combat was kind of not.
Not stellar.
Yeah. But I did have a sling, and so yeah, and so I would always make sure that I would go last, and I'd sit there and I'd look for like, oh, that person only got into the 4 range. Well, I'm going to bump them up to a 12.
Oh, nice.
And I
So-
was the bard, so at the beginning of every round, I just walked up to the GM and I said, "I'm singing," and it would bump everybody up.
Oh,
you know,
nice.
thing.
Did the
Once they-
GM actually make you sing?
Actually, no. I thought the first time that I was going to have to because the other team, we had 2 groups that went. One group that went on Friday, and then we went on
yeah,
Saturday.
Aaron was in the other group, and he'll talk about that.
He
when-
will, because he actually
in a
had to sing a song, and they gave him bonus points for that.
That seems anxiety inducing.
I guess it's okay. Well, the person who was playing the
Depends
bard.
on who the person is. Like,
Yeah.
David will eat that.
Oh,
That's
sure.
not a,
Yeah, true.
Yeah, the person who was playing the bard had lost his voice, and he's like, "I can't like physically sing." And they're like, "Well, someone else, just sing for him." So Aaron did it, and he got bonus points for it or something. Got healed or whatever.
That's great.
So we got up the first time, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to sing to help this out." And I was like, "Save the monk," because the monk was in trouble. And they're like, "That's great." And I was like, "You don't actually need me to sing, do you?" And they're like, "No, not really. I just tell you I'm singing. That's enough." Okay, thanks. That's embarrassing.
Nice.
7 people I don't know.
Yeah. And the other the spellcasters in general, you have to, when you're in the training room, you have to look at these sheets that have markings of different types. Like the druids are different leaf patterns. And when you go up to cast a spell to get the full effect of the spell, the GM will hold up the pattern and you have to identify it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. So how long did it take you to go through?
About 2 hours.
2 hours.
Damn.
It's
Yeah.
about 50. It was $52 or $56 for a ticket.
56.
56.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it worth it?
Yeah, I mean,
To do
if
at
it was
least
cheaper,
once.
I wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it
was
seems
a cool
like an experience. Yeah.
It was. It really was. It was really
One
kind of
thing to
fun.
also keep in mind is that this is kind of like an MMO in that there is continuity. Like you level up your characters, and every year you can come back progressively harder. They have a hardcore
Yes.
mode, which is they obviously make it harder. And there are items which you get on little plastic coins.
Yes.
Oh, neat.
And there is like a third-party market for that shit.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, no, there was somebody. I was reading the Something Awful Gen Con thread on their Trad Games forum, and somebody talked about, oh, I got a coin that was worth 25,000 gold coins. I sold it to a merchant, a guy. It was worth $500 in real money. I sold it to, but I offloaded it to a guy for $360, so I could, wouldn't have to find the right buyer. And so,
Holy shit.
Right.
yeah, I flipped it, and that paid for my Gen Con. And so, there's a whole subculture of people who are really into it. There's like a website where you can log in and register your character and keep track.
Yeah,
of
we
it.
got
apparently-
completion
yeah.
cards that say you can log in and keep track of stuff, and yeah.
And there are apparently people that follow True Dungeon around from con to con. Because
What other cons do they do? Do you know?
Oh,
Dragon Con?
You would think. That,
I would.
Yeah.
I didn't think to pay attention to
Okay.
that side of the card.
Yeah.
But
All
I
right.
saw it was another convention that you can sign up to do True Dungeon at.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Probably not as elaborate as it would be at Gen Con on other
I
cons.
don't know. Depends on the space, yeah.
Depends
Because
on
I
the
don't know
space
how
that's
they
available.
did it in the rooms last year,
Yeah, I mean,
as big as it was.
If it travels in any way, it's probably.
yeah. I mean, all that kind of stuff looked like a decent theater set.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, would be. It was all like hallways and rooms made out of pipes with curtains.
Nice.
So-
Collapsible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally removable and portable. So
RPG industry legend Mac Forbeck, who is one of the guys behind the Diana Jones Awards, and he's done a ton of stuff. He wrote a 4 novel series about murders at Gen Con. It was like a murder thriller.
What the fuck?
Yes. It's like playing the game, and I remember because the first one is about some dude getting murdered at True Dungeon. They'd mentioned an animatronic dragon.
Oh, no.
So it was meticulously researched. Like Ken Height's a character in it, and
That is kind of cool.
yeah. So they probably have animatronic dragons at some
Is
point.
Ken Whitman
Did
the
they have
killer?
one
They
this
did-
year?
we did not have a dragon. Our final boss monster was a big.
Beholder.
Sure, it had a lot of eyes.
That's
all
a
I know.
beholder.
Beholder?
It killed me, and then somebody brought me back, so it was cool.
Oh.
I got better.
Yay.
Mercy. Heroes never die.
Right,
There
exactly.
you go. So it sounds like it was fun for you guys.
It was fun. We have Jed made these beautiful sashes that say RPPR on
nice.
them. And so the four of us that went on Saturday, we wore ours into the thing, and she's going to hold on to them, and we're going to use them in future years.
Nice.
And
And then-
Aaron is currently responsible for the community chest of RPPR loot coins.
Yes. So he has all of our leftover tokens.
Aaron, don't mess us up.
Oh, no.
No pressure.
He's on the
Aaron.
spot now.
Somebody's
Yeah.
supposedly going to make
He'll
like a
never listen to this
chest,
one.
and we're
Yeah.
going to have like a cool little chest full of tokens.
Oh, nice.
So
Yay, Christ.
RPPR will probably be doing this in the future.
Yeah, it sounds
seem
like
to
it. I
have
might have to do it
pretty
next
good time.
year
It's
if I have time. I'll probably be
Right.
running games next year, red markets or something. Help me
Probably.
out.
I mean, who would do that?
Yeah.
Help Caleb, right?
Yeah. What's the other games we tried
Give
out?
money.
At Gen Con. I played the Bloodborne card game.
Yeah, how was that?
It was amazing because one, Jeb, an RPPR listener, hi Jeb, actually learned the rules of the game by reading the rules instead of like having someone explain it to him, which was amazing.
Read the
Considering-
rules?
Does
Yeah,
that?
I know. It was
Read
like,
them?
because it was like a 12-page like booklet. It was like there was a lot of stuff. Anyways, it's a semi-cooperative / competitive game where you're all fighting the same monster every round, but you're also trying to get more blood echoes
Than each other.
Than each other.
Yeah.
If you're all familiar with Bloodborne,
I am not.
it is similar in game design to Dark Souls. If you
I am still not.
okay.
Kill the monster, but have the
Remember
most
that
points.
whole GroupMe conversation that happened when I thought
I
about
don't-
getting Dark Souls, and then everyone was like, "No, Dan, don't."
Your mistake is thinking I would remember things from the group me.
Oh, no.
Yes, I do not. So the basic idea in the game is, you fight monsters, and every time you, like, say, a monster will have 10 hit points or 10 blood echoes. And then everyone puts a card down at the same time and then flips them over at the same time. And you're using one of your items, and the item would do damage. And if you do damage to the monster, then you get that many blood echoes out of it. So, like, if you hit it for 2 points of damage, you get to take 2 tokens off of it and put them in your stored thing. But then if you die, you lose everything unless you go to the Hunter's Dream, in which case you can then bank it. And once they're banked, they're saved. And only the banked ones count. But every time you go to the Hunter's Dream, that costs you your turn. You're not getting blood echoes. So you have to gauge like how
Interesting.
how close to the bone you're going to cut it before you go and save all your blood echoes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can sneak up. Sometimes monsters can do. They have an exploding dice mechanic where sometimes a monster will do 0 damage, sometimes it will do like 6 damage, and a lot of times hunters will have weapons that not only deal damage to monsters but to you as well.
Oh.
So like, and sometimes it'll be like, oh, you used a ranged weapon. Well, my weapon means that you take damage as well, or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So there's so you're all trying to kill the monster, because if you all kill the monster and it doesn't have a chance to run away, then you all get trophies, which advance your score as well. So it's interesting. And I definitely want to play it again with the RPPR people, because it opens up a lot of gambits, because you're trying to be dicks to each other. You're trying
Yeah.
to jerk each other, trying to be jerks to each other. But like, you can't do it too much, otherwise you're not going to kill the monster, and no one's going to advance. So you kind of have to work together, but you kind of don't. So it's really passive aggressive, which is really fun.
like Munchkin meets Settlers of Catan.
Yeah, to a certain degree, yeah. There's no trading of resources, so there's a little different. But yeah, it's definitely like Munchkin, but much better design, because there's no. Well, Munchkin always stalls out at the end, right?
Yeah.
Because like everyone gets to level. The first person gets to level 9. Everybody uses screw you cards to make sure he doesn't win. Then another person gets to level 9. No, you can't let that guy. And then it's just attrition until someone finally gets that one fight and no one has any cards left whatsoever to fuck him over.
Yeah.
And then, so there's nothing like that. It's a lot quicker. and more elegant. So, anyways, I like Bloodborne, the card game. It's like $35.
Woo!
It's got very pretty art because they just use stuff from the video game or the concept art from the video game.
Yeah.
You played Red Dragon Inn for the first time.
Yeah, Red Dragon Inn, absolutely amazing. I cannot speak highly enough of it. I really, really had a bunch of fun with it. The basic premise is that you're a group of adventurers who just completed your adventure and are returning to the inn to drink your asses off. The whole point of the game is to be the last one standing. You have health and fortitude. Damage reduces health. Drinks reduce fortitude. If your health and your fortitude cross, you die. So if you have, never mind.
You pass out.
Yeah, you pass out. If health goes all the way down, you can die. But, whatever.
That means you're not drinking, which means you're already not doing it right.
Exactly. But it's a game about trying to outdrink and outstab your friends, and it is amazingly fun. The game encourages you to, depending on which character you get, it encourages you to roleplay them a little bit, which adds a bunch of just interesting dynamics between all the characters. I absolutely recommend checking it out. And the guys at Slugfest Games were super kind and gave us at Third Wheel / Thrilling Intent a couple review copies. Well, a review copy plus some expansion stuff. Thank you so much.
Did you pick it up, or did one of your other guys take it home with him?
Oh, they took it home.
Okay.
Yeah, and we plan on buying the rest of the Red Dragon Inn stuff because it is that good. It is extremely fun.
Jeb had the super big box with all the expansions.
Yeah.
And we were playing that during open gaming time. And I was the Killer Bunny thing.
Pookie,
yes.
Yeah.
Pookie is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of Pookie's I don't want to gamble or I don't want to fight anymore cards is Pookie had an accident.
Oh no.
Wow. All right.
All right.
Sounds great.
You got some new games too, God Hates Charades.
Oh, God Hates Charades is the best game
Yeah.
I've ever bought. So great. So, and I totally came across it by accident. It was off way over on one side of the exhibit hall, and I just happened to walk by, just wandering around, and this guy stops me, and he's like, "Hey, have you ever heard of God Hates Charades?" I'm like, "No, but I am intrigued now because the title of your game is already great." He's like, "Well, here's some of the things you might get. You might get Hitler having too much fun at a glory hole. And now you have to act it out. You can talk during it. It's not like pure charade. So you can speak. You can describe what's happening instead of acting it out." So I was like, "I'm sold. Done. Buy it. Buy all the things." And so I bought the thing, and we played it that night in open gaming with several of the RPPR fans, and it was very interesting. And
Kind of staring off in the distance.
terrible things happen. Some very bad things happen. I won't talk about one of the most embarrassing moments, but it was just hilarious. Our very first one, Patrick had to do Hitler singing the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I like
theme
that
song.
all your examples involve Hitler.
Hitler was really one of the best cards in the thing.
God tier card.
God, I mean, there's
Hitler
just some
was
good
just
stuff.
the best.
Hitler's the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hitler
Let's get a
singing
soundboard
Fresh
of that.
Prince.
They clearly market tested and like, yep, no, Hitler.
Hitler's the winner.
Springtime for Hitler.
So it's kind of like it reminded me a lot of Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
kind
definitely
of
not party game
level.
genre.
It's very
How many
much
is
so.
it like a big box of cards?
It was pretty big. Plus, there was an expansion
Like a
of
couple hundred.
the geek pack. So there's a lot of cards in there that I'm like, I don't know this video. I know this is a video game character, but I don't have a clue who they are, or what they do. So skip and pick somebody
Cool.
else. It was a lot of fun. We played it, several
we'll
times.
have to try it at RPPR at some time.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was. It
That
reminded
might
me
be
of
a
Super
real
Fight.
recording.
Oh god, like whatever else happened to the one night we played all the board games from Gen Con last year, and that night there was a lot going on. That night,
Yeah.
there was a lot of drinking going on. So I don't remember most of it.
Yes, thank you for all the fans out there who brought refreshments for
yes.
us. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We try to make it very social. Gen Con's, celebration of gaming and our podcast. And I mean, it's not designated we're making it a celebration of our podcast. I'm not that.
You didn't hear it here.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
It's just how it is.
It happens.
And yeah, so Dan, you played a new game or a game new for you, RPG.
Yeah, I finally got a chance to play Numenera, and that,
Yeah.
that means I finally feel a little more comfortable in.
Was this an
running it.
official game?
Yes.
Cool. Was it one of the ones through Monica Games?
Yes.
Cool.
Oh.
it gave me enough of exposure to realize that, yes, the game is really about how well the GM bullshits.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems interesting.
As opposed to other games, how?
Well, no, it's just like, it feels very D20-ish, because, you're rolling D20, and it uses kind of an old skeleton of third ed for the core mechanic, but they retweaked it, blah, 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 blah. But it just felt like there are rules that have to be followed, and the whole time the GM was just like, he's thumbing through the book because, I mean... I realize that I've been spoiled when it comes to gaming tables and other players.
Well, I mean, of course.
Like, and these players, like, it was literally like we spent 10 minutes trying to figure out how to cross over a chicken wire fence that was barely knee high.
What?
Yeah,
but you like the game, you're saying?
No, I liked the game. I played it and I liked the mechanics. Just at the table of people that I was with, I was just like, we're going to bypass combat by bullshitting our way through everything. I was like, well, that's great and all, but that's kind of why I signed up for this game, guys.
I want to go put fist into face.
Yeah.
I want to figure out how do I sword in face. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, how do I bullshit? Well, you bullshit the same that you bullshit in every other game.
Yeah.
You make a pitch to the GM. The GM tells you whether or not to roll dice. And your dice are either high enough or not high enough. That's not what I needed to see.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So what, did you get to try the combat mechanics eventually?
Yes, we did a little combat, not a lot, but it's just like, okay, so it really is just hit the target number. You do a flat amount of damage based on your abilities. You don't have to roll for damage. Combat goes super quick. And since it's a player-facing game, the DM doesn't have to roll any dice unless they want to.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
that's cool.
Okay. So you think you'll be running it for us at some point?
At some point, or maybe a Patreon game. Mm-hmm. Like I have, since the core settings, like there are 9 previous iterations of the world. I'm trying to figure out if I could do 9 previous RPPR iterations of the world.
just throw in Cyrock. They'll love it. You know?
Well, no, it's like I already decided that no matter what, the players are going to meet at a bar called Cleary's.
Okay, yeah. Mitch and Clear, yeah. He's a time-traveling player character that David has.
Oh, nice.
He's shown. He was first in Bryson Springs, which was set in the 30s. Then I let him be a PC...
Sense of Sleight of Hand Man.
Sense of Sleight of Hand Man, which is set in the 20s. I'm like, it's fine. Whatever.
Yithians.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
So the Mitchum Cleary time loop has not yet been closed
resolved
yet. So
yeah,
we haven't fully resolved it yet,
No.
but sooner or later we will.
I thought someone said that it was resolved.
They were wrong. It's never resolved.
Because in the
Can't
White
be.
Forest scenario that I ran for Monsters at Gen Con
yeah.
last year had a young Mitchum Cleary.
Okay.
This is true.
Oh.
Who's in the present day.
I haven't closed it in my head canon, which I guess is
There you
canon.
go.
I don't know. So it depends on how you feel about death of the author. So
Right.
yeah, parts.
Fine.
Anyways,
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, escape the booth. You got to.
Oh yeah, I did. So there were a couple like room escape things that were happening at Gen Con, and I didn't get to do the like cool big actual room escape. It was more expensive, and I was
Yeah.
cheap. So
Well, after True Dungeon, I mean, yeah.
well, yeah, exactly. I figured I could do one big thing, and this was fine. So they did have a board game called was it just called Escape the Room? I'm a terrible person. I didn't actually buy the board game,
Oh, no.
but they had an event to go along with it called Escape the Booth, and they had built in their booth a little
In the main
curtain-
exhibit hall.
In the main exhibit hall.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
So they had like a double-sized booth. So they had half of it for their game, for selling their board game.
Buy
And they
our
had-
game.
And they had half of it for. They curtained it off, and it was its own little room. It had a little carpet, and it was actually very peaceful in there. And we wanted to just lay
Nice.
down, but it was set up each. Like one wall, was the opening, and then there were 3 walls, and each of them had stuff on it that were puzzles we had to solve. So there were 5 of us in the room, and we had to do a room escape and figure out. We went from this room, and we solved the puzzle, and we got the key to the next room, and did the thing, and we made it out in 9 minutes and 44 seconds. Which
Oh,
was
nice.
respectable time.
Yeah.
The fastest that day was like 7:18. So we're like, we feel pretty good about ourselves.
Well, they were
Yeah.
using performance-enhancing drugs.
Of course,
Exactly,
naturally.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw Michael Phelps in that room.
probably.
I would be really impressed if it was Michael Phelps was there and in Rio at the same time.
That-
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. He's that fast.
He's that fast. Yeah. But it was really cool. I got a button, and then they said that what we did was like a prequel to the board game, so that nothing's spoiled.
Oh, that's cool.
So then you buy the board game and you set it all up. Everything's still sealed, so you can play it through once. And then that's, I guess, it. Well, because you can't escape the room more than once because you already
you
know
don't
all
know.
the
You haven't read the
answers.
rules.
Go back
Well,
into the room.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I did just kind of assume, so I don't actually know
you
what the
did
game.
assume.
Maybe there's several
variants.
setups.
Yeah.
Maybe there's several times, and then you can run it for your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can put all this. It tells you how to put all the stuff back away, so you can.
Or there's some sort of
run it for other
randomization.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So
or it could be like some of the legacy versions of other games where it's just like the more you play it, the more stuff you unlock and add to the game.
maybe.
Yeah.
So it could be cool, but I did not buy the board game. I had enough fun with the room, and it was fun.
Yeah. So I mean, we all had a great time at Gen Con.
Oh, yeah.
my gosh.
Tons
yeah.
of meeting. I mean, the best part is just meeting fans and other gamers and
Yes.
getting to try new games and just talking and shooting the breeze. Yeah.
Talking with people in the will call line.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, just like random conversations with people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I had a conversation with two other people. We were talking about our jobs and like the benefits that allow us to go to Gen Con. Like, one person was like, I'm mostly retired and I supplement my income as a cashier, and I had to remind my supervisor for the last month, do not schedule me for Gen Con or I am quitting.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, just that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I sat down at a table to eat in the exhibit hall. I was like, I should sit here and eat, and there's a table with only 3 people at it, so I'll just sit with them and not bother them, and it'll be fine. But they were playing a game, and it was really funny, and I started laughing so hard that they invited me to join their game.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I was like, well, cool. I don't know
Yay.
you guys, but
Yeah.
thanks for including me.
No, everyone
Those are
here is
fun.
Yeah, I don't think I've really had any majorly negative experiences. I know in years past, Aaron and some other people have had bad official games where the GM didn't know the rules or anything like
Oh,
that.
bummer.
But those have been kind of rare. Faust, I mean, you like any particular highlights of meeting fans or anything like that?
Oh, man. It was all good. I think my favorite part was probably just seeing the cosplays and like all the work that
That would
everybody.
be. I don't know if I could take like somebody cosplaying Bartleby or fucking Kowloon,
Right.
Or
It was-
or the Deer Hunter from Fallen Flag. Right?
No, no Deer Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still reeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean it's Sorry.
I remember one more thing that play tested and purchased.
Yeah.
Dominion's new expansion
Oh, nice.
released on Gen Con week.
Oh yeah, the deck building game.
Yep. I got a copy of it. It was super great when we demoed it, and I'm sure other people in the RPPR group got it. Well, I know for a fact Bill and Melissa did, and I'll let them
Yeah,
talk
they're big
about
into
it.
Dominions.
But yeah,
Cool. Yeah, we'll like I said, we'll be actually playing more games. Like I bought a ton of games, but I'll wait until I actually play them before
Yeah.
talking about them on the show. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff. And we got stuff for After Hours too, of course.
Of course.
Like I bought Luzaki had a bunch of old stuff from like the 70s, and like there's a 1976 wargaming fanzine that I bought several issues of for like $5, and their bitch were like, "Oh look, we have." Funny. Some people are using funny shaped dice, not cube dice. Here's how you can simulate rolling a D20 using a 6-sided die, and it's
Wow.
it's amazing.
Wow.
is that really the word you want to use, Ross Payton?
It is amazing. There's another for a review of a fantasy war game about 2 wizards with their magical armies fighting each other, and this is the wargaming magazine. I mean, it's kind of a gimmick, but you could think of trolls as heavy cavalry, and the orcs as line infantry, and I guess it's. I mean, if you're into F and SF, that means fantasy and sci-fi. I guess you might like it, but if you're a proper wargamer, I mean, it's no
Wow.
Napoleonic or Civil War era simulation.
Flip the table and go home.
It's from 1976.
Yeah, give me a break.
Yeah, it's like I said, it is amazing.
It's funny.
It's a relic.
So,
Yeah. So
speaking of games,
yeah.
Have you put any more thought into the offer that was made at the meetup of if someone lets us borrow the entire Legend of the Five Rings collection, if we would run a campaign in it?
We did get some offers for various games. Legend of the Five Rings, I mean, I've actually played one or two things of it in the past, and it seems like a fun system, but we have so much in our queue as it is. I would play in it, I would not run it. Because, I mean, there's Dracula Dossier, I'm running Base Raiders right now, and I think after I finish the Base Raiders campaign, I think I'm just going to run, like, 3 months of one-shots of all the game systems I own. So I could say I have at least run every system I own at least once. Because I have literally, and especially now, over a dozen games that I've never run for that I would like to. So I am not running that anytime soon. If you want to take up that mantle,
No.
or Michelle, I'm sure you love samurai games. No?
Yeah, I'm going to pass on that.
Okay.
I mean, I went to a seminar on how to be a first-time GM, so I'm going to say that one's probably out.
Okay.
Probably not a good one to start with.
So it sounds like we're just going to shuffle this off to Sean and Aaron.
Yeah, Sean wants to run it. That would be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if Aaron would want to run it. There's no robots on it, so.
But
Tell
it is
him-
very,
yeah.
very
Tell him that it
Japan.
has robots.
Well, he would
Why?
house rule them in.
Yeah.
Atomic
good.
Robo in the past.
Atomic Robo Samurai.
So next up, coming up, before we go, we do have a couple minor anecdotes. I got to play in 2 Dennis Detwiller run Delta Green games. Foss was in one of them, Impossible Landscapes. The first episode of Impossible Landscapes is on Dennis Detwiller's Patreon right now. He will have episode 2 up soon. Episode 3... I don't want to give too much spoilers, but in episode 2, we basically had a very Delta Green ending in that we were in our escape car driving away from
Bleeding.
a burning building
Profusely.
and having our sanity rended. What is even going on? Episode 3 starts
The
up,
start
is
of episode 3.
we're no longer in a car, we're in a totally different environment, and we're
All the players just kind of look back and forth at each other.
and people
what?
referring to us by different names, our characters.
God.
You're like, oh, you're not that guy, you're this guy, and I'm like, what the fuck is even going on?
Caleb looked like he was going to implode. he was.
He didn't know how to handle it well.
Yeah, no.
And Thad was there in person. We were all there in person, so we got to record, that. So the whole scenario is figuring out what was real and what was not real.
Yeah, I still don't know.
Yeah. And at the end, it was you did about it. You did okay. And we're like,
Yeah,
how
well,
was that possible?
Thanks, Dennis.
It was amazing. And then the other Delta Green game that I got to play in, basically, it was in a forest. There were bad things happening.
Great.
And my character had to use a chainsaw in order to cover up some bad things.
Oh, good.
To get rid of evidence.
Okay.
And
Sounds
a
about
dump
right.
truck. There was a lot of evidence he had to cut up.
Evidence.
To hide.
By evidence, do you mean people?
That depends on what you count as a person.
Oh, there it is.
That's
Yeah.
biological. There are similarities to the thing you cut up, but I don't. That's kind of a.
The deep question,
Yeah,
man.
it's getting.
That was what you were pondering during that sanity roll.
Yeah, I know it was.
Nice. Yep.
He made the sand check to his chainsaw. And I was like, I want to get core samples. And then we had fun. Oh, but Michelle, Tom ran a game of Call of Cthulhu, his World War II scenario about no briefing.
You weren't briefed?
We were briefed.
No grief left behind. Well, every
There is a
grief was left
recording of
behind.
it that I'll
There
put up on the
is.
Patreon.
I'm
It's
not sure
very
how-
in a noisy room, so I don't know.
Yeah, the other
So
table
it'll be
was
a
playing
bonus.
Channel A, and they were quite animated about it.
Enthusiastic.
So it very intoxicated a little bit too, yeah. But yeah, so they were pretty loud, so I don't know how well that recording.
Yeah, but
turned
tell
out,
us the
we'll see.
highlights.
Oh, the highlights. Oh, well.
See, and
Gosh.
the thing to note is that Michelle has never been in a Tom game before.
Yeah, I have.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I have. Anyway, I played in a Tom game and I played in a Call.
Do you remember which one it was?
No.
Okay. Was it a Tom Call of Cthulhu game?
I think it was at Gen Con last year,
Okay.
so it might have been.
Probably.
Yeah.
He likes it. It's his, yeah.
It is. It was a good game. I
Yeah,
liked
yeah.
it. We were.
So what was the highlight of the scenario? World War II commandos
World War II
fighting
commandos,
Nazis.
Yeah, we were fighting Nazis. I mean, just the discussion on how in the world we were going to stop this truck and not damage it and then shoot things. And then our first things all turned out, our first ambush just started off terribly. Like the sniper's gun jammed, and or the sniper missed, and so alerted them to our presence. And then the first person to attack, his gun jammed terribly, and that didn't go well. And then finally we start shooting them, and it worked out okay. And then we made it to the thing, and then apparently whenever you guys played it, you guys did not follow the directions that you were given. And we're just like, yeah,
No.
sure, follow the Nazis' directions. Like, why would we not?
Here's the thing. We weren't briefed.
Neither were we. Oh my God. We get there and we get to the place and David is the captain and they're like, so Captain, were you briefed? And he goes, no. And I was like, God damn it, David. You're supposed to say yes. I already know this. I don't even know what the joke is yet, but I know that you're supposed to say yes. So
you
we
were
danced-
impersonating Nazis, like you.
Yeah, we
that
were
was your job.
That was the whole thing. And he's like, no, we weren't briefed. And I'm like, oh, shit. We're going to die right here. But we made it. We bluffed our way through that. And
Nice.
we made it okay. And we made it to the back to the past and to the ship. And we followed the directions where apparently you guys did not. But
No.
We're just like, no, it's fine. Do what they say. Kill everybody and bring the gold back. Yeah. That's
Monsters.
Nazis.
No
whatever.
one tried to save conquistadors.
Yeah, like you didn't have Aaron in your game.
We didn't. Well, the first person that comes down the stairs is the cabin boy, and we just shoot him. No,
Us too.
I did, yeah, but
Yeah.
Aaron was not happy
Aaron
about
was,
that.
not happy. No, we just like, nope, dead. Kill them all. Whatever, it's
Jesus.
fine. Except then my helmet got damaged, so then on the return trip, I saw things.
Oh,
But then
Saw with a capital S.
yeah, I saw things. And then I was supposed to make a con ×1 roll, and I'm like, my con is only 13. Like, are you sure ×1? You didn't mean ×10 or something, right? Like, I
So
can make that.
how did it go?
I made it.
What?
I made it. I rolled an 11.
Nice.
And Tom's just like, I'm so excited. I didn't get to do this part with the other group. And he's like, you feel fine. I'm like, I don't need to make a sanity roll? He goes, nope. You feel fine. Everything's fine. I'm like, everything is fine. And that was just how I played it the whole rest of the game. I never lost any more sanity because everything's fine.
Oh.
And I went and Jen kept watching what I was doing. She lost all her sanity. She went down to 0.
Oh.
Because then I went back and had to try to blow up the time travel thing. And I went to break a guy's neck. And they're like, let's see. Tom's like, you suddenly have a lot of super strength. Your strength is now 30. Do a strength ×5 roll. And I'm like, gee, I can't really miss that, can I? I can't roll higher than 150. Well, all right then. He's like, what are you going to do to him? I'm like, I'm just going to break his neck. He's like, okay, you go up to him and you snap his neck and his whole head comes off. I'm like, yes.
Oh my God, the return of Topanga.
Everything's yes. Everything's fine.
Yep.
Everything's fine. And apparently by that point it was like, I don't know, midnight.
Things were
Midnight
rapidly
and-
spiraling out.
Well,
of control.
yeah. And I was a little sleep deprived and crazy. And so a couple people came over. They're like, how's the game going? I was like, it's fine. My eyes got a little weird. I don't know. I was like, I still have all my sanity.
So yeah, we'll have the whole game on there if you want to listen to it, despite the Channel 8 noise. You could hear how fine it was.
Totally fine.
It was totally fine. So next up, we'll have another group, RPPR, talk about their experiences, and then some more. So thanks.
Yay!
Gen Con! Hey, it's Rose Roll Playing Public Radio. This is another part of our post-Gen Con wrap-up. Yay!
We're home.
Yeah, we are here with Bill, Melissa, Jason, Renee, and Aaron. Aaron, talking about their experiences
He's the
with
only
Gen
one who
Con.
gets a special name.
Well, you weren't featured in a certain comedic skit that had comedic, alternate pronunciations.
comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
comedic comedy.
Yeah,
That's what we're here good at. So yeah, Gen Con 2016 was very, very fun for everybody. I've already talked about my experience, so I'll just do a little more moderating, I guess, or whatever. I won't talk as much. I'll try not to. I think we should start with Jason and Renee, though, because this is your first time at Gen Con, and probably your first time at a large convention of this kind.
Well,
Or
my
not.
first time, not so much Jason's.
I've been to some like anime cosplay.
Okay.
Some big stuff like that. But
Okay. So, how was Gen Con for you guys?
It was fun, and it was big.
Ladies.
I was actually in one of the things that I was in. I went to a lot of crafting sessions, so in one of the crafting sessions that I was in, I was talking to a girl who was from Indianapolis, and she said, "Oh, so are you from here?" And I said, "Oh no, I'm not from here at all. I'm from Springfield, Missouri. It's not too far away." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't realize that people like came from other places." And I thought to myself, have you looked around? Like
60,000
mean?
people.
You think Indianapolis just like was like, bring out your geeks and like ringing a bell or something? Like
50,000 people lifted conch
That's the
shells
line
to
of
the
the
sky.
episode. Bring out your geeks. Jim Con, 2017. Yeah, wow. That's interesting. Yeah, and I'm like the crafting sessions. What kind of things did you learn? Anything new or like?
well, I didn't learn like a lot of new things,
Because
but
Renee is a crafting goddess.
I do like me some crafting. I did make a TARDIS dice tower that I was really happy with.
Oh, I saw that. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
you guys saw it.
You made that.
I
I didn't
carried
know
it
that was-
into the meetup. Yeah, no, we made that. Like I had blocks of wood and cardboard in front of me, and then it was a TARDIS dice tower.
Just like that, nothing else.
So,
It was
so
like
crafting
magic.
is just like an MMO. You
Yeah.
gather all the mats, you do this for 10 seconds while a bar fills, and then you have a thing?
Well, it was more like an hour and a half, but it was really
It
impressive.
was one of those long cooldowns.
Yeah. It was really impressive that I could actually finish the whole project in that
Yeah.
time, because a lot of time, or a lot of the crafting sessions, you kind of like get started and then can't finish it. Like, so
Right.
you like have crafts to
Before
take
you get
home,
haunted
which is
octopus.
cool in and of itself in its own way, but it was really nice that I could be like, this is done, and now I just have to be careful that I don't get blue paint on somebody as it's drying.
Right.
So
Did you have to pay?
yes, I had to pay. That one was run by Crafty Gamers, and that one was it was a really good one. I went to a couple other. Melissa and I went to a couple Copic markers. I think that was Imagination International. Those were really great, but mainly because Copic markers are so great. So
The choice of Animus everywhere.
sadly, I don't own 5 million Copic markers like
Melissa
the people.
does.
Not 5 million.
Not 5 million, not yet.
A small collection.
So we like got to play with all the colors, which was nice there, and we got to learn a couple of techniques that we could actually use for things.
And play with the airbrush.
And they have an airbrush,
Which
which
I
I'm
may
really
know.
excited about. I did learn that they had an airbrush.
Like, I may poke fun at the amount of Copic markers that Melissa is acquiring, but then I saw the map that she drew, and I
then
was
he-
like, yes,
he
this
now
is
approves.
It is now justified.
Yeah, so that was very cool too.
So aside from crafting, were there any other major events or highlights?
Well, Jason and I went on a tour of the Indianapolis catacombs on Thursday because we were smart. So that was like that was the very first thing we did. Our feet were not like falling off of our ankles at that
Oh
point.
yeah.
Catacomb might be a bit of a
Catacomb.
stretch.
No, it was catacombs, singular.
Yeah.
Is that what they called it?
They called it. Call it the tour of the Indianapolis catacomb, and like the description of the event says like Indianapolis has like all of these like underground catacombs under the city, and like kind of build it up. Really, it's like there was one building that had a basement, and then that building,
Cool basement.
and then that building fell down. No, it like burned up or fell
it
down or
burned down,
something.
so they built
So they
several
built
buildings.
a couple of buildings. So yes, the catacombs are under several buildings, but it's because it's just one building's basement.
It sounds like you pay money to go to a basement.
Well,
Am I wrong?
here's the thing.
Okay.
It was like one of those like historical society things.
Oh, yeah.
So what we got was, an old crusty dude who knows everything about everything, like leading us around the city,
Yeah.
pointing out, hey, that limestone was from this. But since
Yeah.
we're history nerds, that was awesome because anyone who's never been to Indianapolis has never seen the giant statue in the center of the city.
Oh, the monument circle.
Yeah.
And so, like, kind of, digging into that stuff. I mean, I'm a pretty big Civil War buff, and I didn't know half the stuff that told us about Indiana's contributions to the Civil War.
Did you take a look at the Columbia Club at any chance? It's by Monument Circle. We mentioned before in the podcast, it's a very historical themed hotel that's got like an old, a dead president's desk or something like that. Or one of the 19th century guys. Harrison, I think.
it was Harrison Taft.
Yeah, Harrison. Yeah, I don't think it was Taft.
And Tyler too.
So yeah, no, that's really cool. Was that an official event, or was that just something you found?
That was also an official Gen Con event.
Yeah,
like we met in the convention center, and then they took us on a tour to the city market, is where the catacombs are. So we went on a tour, kind of past Monument Circle, and we learned all about Monument Circle, and then we went on to the city market,
the governor's house, and about some of the slightly entertaining political drama that went down in the mid-1800s as Indiana was kind of becoming a state.
You might use that, do a little more research. Maybe next year at Gen Con we could have a Indianapolis-themed Call of Cthulhu historical scenario.
If Ethan manages to find a way to go to Gen Con, I'm
sure
going
he
to
would.
issue that challenge to him.
He can pull it off.
Ethan has been running our excellent Civil War scenarios in various Cthulhu games. Well, cool. So let's just get a little brief preview. Bill, Melissa, how was your Gen Con this time?
It was good. I sort of constructed it totally differently. Last year I did kind of what Renee did this year and did a whole bunch of crafting classes and was really busy and was kind of sad because I got very little time in the expo hall. So this year I kind of did it opposite. And I think I had 2 events that I actually scheduled besides the meetup, and spent the rest of the time in the expo hall demoing games and buying all the things.
Were the 2 events the crafting things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they were both crafting things.
Okay. Bill, what about you?
I decreased my panel frequency somewhat, but I think that still managed to be most of what I ended up doing. That and a combination of playing a bit more Magic than I really should have.
Is that
It got a little excessive.
Is that even possible? Okay, yeah, no, it's definitely possible.
It did. Yeah.
Because I know in the segment I recorded with Dan mentioned being kind of like the dog with 2 bones. He's just caught between 2 places, and he kept going back and forth because he wasn't sure where to go or what he should commit to as an event. Was that was that your problem as well?
I mean, that was a bit of it, and then just I need to pay more attention to the panel scheduling in terms of not just what do I want to do, but is it in blocked enough time that I can kind of go do those things and get them over with, and then still have blocks of time for other things? Because it was a lot of, all right, panel, hour.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them all greatly. Went to, let's see, I'll hit a few highlights here. The Angry GM, who I've talked about his blog a lot of times, was at Gen Con cosplaying as Sailor Jupiter.
Was that the guy Sailor Jupiter I saw?
Yeah. Which he did as a result of a charity fundraiser.
All right.
He actually looked great, too.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
no, it was a really great cosplay, and apparently he's planning on doing more of that in the future. But
I think I played a game with him, Hack and Slash, a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I'd have to double check.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, because he also apparently ran the Sailor Moon RPG while cosplaying as Sailor Jupiter.
There is a game. I did pick up an RPG called Magical Fury Girl, which is about that.
I want to play that. That looks like
it's a very, very rules-like thing. I haven't. We'll probably do an AP, but anyways.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff. I mean, in spite of that, still did manage to spend, I think, a bit more time going over things in the dealer hall and
A lot more game demos and stuff.
I didn't get to as many demos as these guys did, but as you've noted before, you kind of have to learn how to Gen Con.
Yeah, it's definitely. Even by con standards, it's a little unusual because it's so spread out and there's so many events going on, and there's such a variety. I mean, crafting sessions and historical tours, and then True Dungeon. So, Aaron, this was the RPPR paid for a True Dungeon, so you can be our reporter on the scene.
Yeah, so I think there'll probably be part 2 because Part 1 in a sense because our group that I was with...
You were not with Dan and Michelle.
No, we were not there with Michelle, and they actually did Behold Her Majesty, which I think is the 2nd episode, because True Dungeon is always split up into 2 different segments. For that, we were in Into the Deeper Dark, and our group consisted of myself, George and Jen, Kat and Kyle, Laura, Micah, and I think that was...
All RPPR.
Yeah, a fan. So but guys, thank you so much again. You already know this, but thank you. Loved absolutely playing with you. And then we had 2 other people with us in that group that were randoms because we couldn't get a full party ticket on there.
Buggies.
Yeah. But they were absolutely wonderful, and they were great elf and warrior costumes that they did full leather press. But beside the fact, it was a lot of fun. This year they had a little more stretching room because they expanded into the Lucas Oil Field Stadium. Right. So it was actually in the area underneath it where they could control the lighting. Right. It was very dark, so they actually gave us little lights so we could look at our character sheets constantly. And we were on the puzzle side, so we had to figure out a couple more of those. We failed a couple rooms just because the first one, actually, we didn't realize you had to listen to the audio cues. And it might have come up because Laura was playing our rogue, so she was actually every room that she was in, she had a little skill challenge she could go through, which was a pen through kind of an operation game.
Annoying stick.
Annoying stick, yeah. But it was so fun. Although the real highlight of this was the story we were going through, where we had this woman one of the volunteers who was a drow, supposed to be our guide, and by the end she ended up being the drider that we fought. So. And
spoilers.
So, if you're saying
that we can't go back to,
for people who are going to go play True Dungeons, I know they're doing it elsewhere, but she was
next year. She'll be a good guy the entire time.
Hopefully, if she comes last year, because I tried to get an interview with her, but unfortunately couldn't catch her name or anything afterwards because unfortunately you cannot take any audio or pictures in there because one, they don't want people figuring out the puzzles, understandably, but she was something that made it so great. And one of the funniest stories that came out of that was. We had finished up one of the puzzles early. There was a room where we had to put all these different LED staffs by each other. And we finished up quickly, so we're waiting for the next room to clear out. And as we do it, she turns to Kyle, who is our bard, and says, well, you need to entertain him with the song. And Kyle either had sinusitis or laryngitis. He could not speak. His voice was gone. And he's trying to tell her desperately that he can't do it. And I just kind of back up like, okay, if I ring for him... Can play a ringer, will you accept it? And she said, all right. So I stood behind him, and Micah got off to the side so you couldn't see because again, he's like 6 foot something, and I'm pudgy 5'8". So the only song I could think of that sounded mildly appropriate towards that was Bear McCready's theme for Outlander. Look it up on YouTube, beautiful song, but so I just
Sorry. Got a cough there.
Yeah. I watched the show. I like the song.
Yeah.
And I've had the novel. I've read some of the novels, too. By the way. Anyway. Yeah! You goddamn clap for me.
Slow clap.
Anyway.
Yes.
Actually, no. I should give it the...
Exactly. The cane clap.
Yes.
Right. Anyway. But yeah, people were laughing. They were joking. But I got my golf claps afterwards because Kyle was just mouthing it.
Yeah.
And this wasn't for anything. She looked at it and said, all right, you gained so many points back on your healing spells for Woe the Bard. Gave something to Micah. She looked at me and said, what's your hit points at? And I was down to half because of some of the rooms. You gained your full hit points back. So apparently I sang well enough to warrant that.
Or you just pandered to another Outlander.
I might have done it. It was the only thing I could think of that would be appropriate.
Well, it sounds like that, aside from the RPPR meeting, that would be like the highlight.
Yeah, it really was. Because my plans this year, I was not running any official games like I had the previous years. So I was much more... I was freed up a little bit more to do it. A lot of time was spent in the expo hall because... I did do a couple game demos. One of those, I wish I could remember the name of it, was kind of this little peg game that Kyle and I did, where it was two brothers and a sister, and they had made this.
Game demos. I definitely want to hear about game demos from everybody.
Yeah.
So if you can look that up and figure what that is. Because Renee and Jason, did you guys try any new? Because I know Melissa said she was trying a ton of demos.
Yeah, I think Melissa's might overlap significantly with Jason and I's.
Yeah. You guys should start with the biggest hotness since you spent like so many hours trying to get to it.
It's true. So Melissa and I played Harry Potter, the card game.
Stop.
Is that what it's
called? Do it right.
Harry Potter. Is that what I was supposed to do?
Yes.
The Battle of Hogwarts.
Is that what it's called?
I think so. Yeah.
Harry Potter Battle of Hogwarts.
Yes.
I know because I was the one who actually ended up standing in line for 30 minutes to get them into it.
The important part, that wasn't a placeholder to get in line to demo the game. No, that was the line
To sign
up
Yes.
to demo the game.
Yeah,
Yes, holy
they only
crap.
had so many demo
Yo, dog.
spots per day, and you had to sign up ahead of time.
And they all filled up like before, like
Immediately.
what the hall opened at 10 and they
10.
filled up by 10:15.
yeah,
So Sunday, I had to participate in the running of the Nerds, which happened to include Family Day. So not only did we get all of the people not aware of their own bodies rushing over each other, trying not to break the "don't run, don't shove" rule, but we also had parents screaming at them, "Don't touch my kids." So fun.
So you're saying it was a revival of Olympic level competitive race walking?
No, because that has a specific form. And these people don't understand how to control their
So
bodies well enough for
this was freestyle.
Yes, very much so. Parkour without the actual athletic talent.
Oh god, it's like uncoordinated.
Was it
fighting.
worth it? Was it worth it?
yes.
I think so. I really liked it.
We both really enjoyed it. I think the best description is imagine a mashup of Dominion and Lords of Waterdeep. If you played those two,
I like
Themed Harry
both
Potter.
of those, yeah.
yes, themed Harry Potter. You play as one of the kids in the school, and it's a combination of defeat the bad guys, collect all the spells, and defend locations. And I think we played one round, but I think one of the things that we all were really impressed with the way the game was designed and we're excited about is that when you buy the game, which is $50, and I think it comes out next month.
Yes,
officially.
next month.
Oh, so you weren't even able to buy it.
No, they had 200 copies. So they were. So there were two lines. There's one to get your raffle ticket, so you might get one of the 50.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there was the other, and
Yeah.
these lines were like, the never-ending,
The snake eating
yeah,
its
the
own
snake
tail.
eating its own
Yeah.
tail.
It's like,
So
what
it was
line am I
ridiculous just to get in line to do anything at this
Yeah.
thing.
Like crap.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, but it was very cool and it's very
really
well done. They had the design, the game designers were there,
Yeah.
kind of GMing the demos and stuff. So it was
I know some of the games, not that game, they would sell out. They just a lot of the manufacturers will like say we are only selling so many copies of a game per day in
Yeah.
order to space it out.
Yeah.
There are a couple manufacturers who didn't care and they just wanted to sell their stuff. So what would happen is
Cough,
there
Nancy
are
cough.
there are these people called the very important gamers. You can spend like $500 for a badge,
Yeah.
and you get all these perks, including being able to get into the exhibit hall an hour early and
which would
buy stuff.
explain how many people were in there when
Yeah,
I was
no,
on
no,
the
yeah.
Nerds. Yeah.
And what a lot of these VIGs would do is they would buy the hot games so they could then
they
flip them
spec
on.
them.
Flip them on
my
eBay.
So they're really those
That's
very
really
important
not-
douchebags.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I can't remember. I think it was.
I mean, still better than Martin
I
Skrelly.
can't remember which manufacturer
That's not
did
a
that.
hard-
That's why
Yeah,
the other
that's not a high
manufacturers
bar.
do the daily allotment.
Right.
Like, we're not going to sell them all out immediately.
Yeah.
Because if you sell them all out immediately, then it's like, what are you going to do for the other 4 days?
Yeah.
I
Like,
wonder,
like, all right, we made our money.
I wonder how possible it is to like.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can make the $500 on that flip.
Well,
that's,
possibly.
That's
Well,
a spec
it's
I
not
would
just one
almost-
game.
If I
It's
had
like
the capital,
You
not
hit
doing
all the
it.
boots.
no, I
Yeah.
understand. I
Yeah,
wonder if between all of them,
Yeah.
We're not doing that though.
Well, here's the thing: the VIG things are like allotted, and there's only going to be like there's a set number of them. Period.
so
and
we
you
just
can
have
only
to
buy.
plan this by January.
Well, no,
is
you
what
know,
you're
no,
saying.
the people who are grandfathered in, who already have them from last year, get them. Only if someone gives up their badge.
So you're saying it's a board game tontine?
What
Yeah.
I'm saying is, I went to a crafting session with somebody who admitted that they were a VIG, and the leader of the crafting session said, "Oh, you better not say that in here. Someone might kill you."
Yeah, they are. They're
To
highly
take your
covered.
spot.
I think there's talking
So
there's
it is a
gonna be like,
tontine.
Blood in, blood out.
I think there's gonna be like 2 or 3 people giving up. So there's gonna be like raffle off or like the chance to spend $500 for a VIG badge for like 2 or 3 of them. Because the other major benefits they get is they get their own block of hotel rooms, so they don't have to worry about the lotto to get a hotel within
They get to
walking
find it
distance.
out.
They just get it. So they just get their choice of hotel rooms. And then there's like a lounge. There's a lounge you can go to in the con center where they can water bottles.
I saw that, at one point. There was also, they had a copy of every fucking board game, in the VIG lounge. I peeked through the door. And
The promised land.
For the bodyguard stepped in front of you. To move along, sir.
Wait, what are your shit heels doing? Get the hell
You're
out.
not allowed to see this.
A lot of these gamers that come to DreamCon are like people who work for Microsoft or something like that, and this is their one vacation of the year, and they don't sure, I'll spend this. I just want the convenience.
given.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, so Battle of Hogwarts.
Oh yeah. So what Melissa didn't finish saying is that you pay your $50 and you get your game, but there's actually games 1 through 7 in the box. And
Are
so
they like scenario variants?
No,
Okay.
they are
it's
basically
like book progression.
expansions.
Oh, okay.
But it is supposedly it kind of takes place over the course of the games.
Right.
So your characters get older and they start learning new skills as the games go
Yeah.
along.
That's nifty.
Yeah.
Also things get just a lot harder as the
Right.
games go along.
Game
Like
5 is kind of all about emotions and a little awkward.
Well, possibly.
Game 4 was signitigantly larger
Yeah.
than any of the other games, which I thought was funny.
Peeking over the
size
black
of
velvet
it was
rope
funny.
into the playtest, into the demoing area, looking over that, I saw that they were roughly synonymous in size with the
Interesting. So that sounds like a highlight.
But yeah, it was
Yeah,
really
no,
fun.
that
I
was
really
cool.
liked it.
Yeah.
So we'll be
since the girls
getting that,
sorry.
I guess. Yeah.
As soon as their supply chain catches up.
Right. Well, the quality was amazing. The box, which seems like the dumbest thing in the world to especially for somebody like me. But seriously,
cool.
the quality there was amazing. So
Was that Fantasy Flight or who?
good
USAopoly.
US
I know, right? I know, right?
Apparently they hired
They got
game
serious.
designers.
Were they
Instead
scared?
of
It was
just,
oh shit, we have to be serious.
Putting cats
know,
on a paint roller brush and scrubbing it over a copy of Monopoly.
All right.
I'm right.
Yeah, I'm not really USAopoly. I'm not really familiar with their work. I mean,
All those bullshit variants.
they do the variants.
Cat-opoly,
Yeah.
horse-opoly.
I've never
Springfield
been interested in them in the
Simpsons-opoly.
slightest. It's never been I know they exist.
Exactly.
I
That's why
didn't know
we're
that was
freaking
the
out.
company. I didn't know that was their thing.
And I do feel that, as we were listening to them demo the game, there was a bit of a chip on the shoulder of yes, we are a real game company. Up on that, it's we don't just do Monopoly, guys. There was definitely that feel.
Well, I mean,
But
he
feel
was the
they
game
were-
designer,
he
so if anybody was
saying,
going,
That's the tagline you want for your company. Seriously, you guys, we're more than just Monopoly.
No, that was definitely that was
By
the
your
theme
name,
in
you're
the
already writing yourself into that corner.
Sorry. Agreed.
I guess that is sort of the tagline for the entire board gaming hobby, so it's hard to feel too bad about them.
Yeah, that's true. But yes, it was very well done.
They
Definitely a
contain
highlight. We
multitudes.
worked really hard to make it in there, and we finally made it on the
Jason
last
worked
day.
really
They
hard.
Took one for the team.
Jason.
This game was so hard we had to send an ex-marine into the demo.
Yeah,
Not X.
Sorry, former. I forgot.
Yeah.
All right.
no, it's cool.
Legitimately,
It's cool.
I
No,
apologize.
I appreciate so many people understand this is a thing with this group. It's nice.
So, Bill, were there any other demos that you tried out?
Well, actually, all four of us, or I guess Melissa, you just kind of watched, or no,
Melissa
you
demoed
demoed
it
it
earlier.
earlier. We all ended up demoing a minis game, going into that dark corner of the nerd sphere, which I had as of yet to encounter.
You're so right.
Come to Warhammer, friend.
Well, no, I feel good because it wasn't Warhammer, and
What was it? What is the name? Is it this one?
it actually is. We can all look at things. So the game itself is Conflict 44, spelled with a K. 47. Sorry.
Conflict 47.
Yes, spelled with a K, which is essentially a Weird War variant on a World War II skirmish game called Bolt Action. Which, not having a lot of experience in that field, but just being walked through the demo seemed to be deep enough, but also fairly light. And like a lot of those games, seems to be a lot about modifier stacking and all that kind of stuff. But hey, I played 4E D&D, so
weird. Are there like sci-fi or supernatural?
Yes.
Okay.
Like,
did you play this too?
Yeah, all four of us did. That's
everyone did.
not concurrently.
I kind of found, like, I did my thing. Like, I didn't really schedule any events. Like, I looked through them with Bill, and I was like, some of this looks kind of fun, but, like, I really would rather just get lost in a crowd and kind of disappear and just find things.
Okay.
So,
And he did.
And has a really great story, which you should
and I
tell.
stumbled across it,
Yeah,
And,
because these people need all the press.
oh, yeah, no, these guys are great. No,
The
and I
Conflict
got-
47 people.
Yeah,
Warlord Games.
Warlord Games.
They said in chorus. Anyway,
But yeah, no, like, but yeah, to kind of finish the line that you started with, Bill Ross. Yeah, basically the gist is, instead of nuking Japan, we nuked Germany towards the end of World War II, and it blew open a rift, and some Lovecraftian voices started whispering out of it to the Nazis. And while they couldn't understand all of it, what they could understand, they took it and ran with it, and all of a sudden they came charging back out of the heartland of Germany with mechs and supernatural creatures.
Fucking eidolons.
and also, and here's the part where Tom, who is not here, is going to look at the sky and realize there's a new thing he's going to purchase. Germany has werewolf units.
Oh, yeah. All right. Because of
And vampires too, don't
And
they?
vampires
Do I need to text him to see if he sneezed?
and zombies.
Oh yeah, zombies.
Yep.
and zombies.
Meanwhile,
of course, somebody would have to have zombies.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
Meanwhile, in the face of this, America is all like, well, we're not going to do that. But that Einstein guy seems not too bad. And he's like, have you met my friend Nikola Tesla? And so the U.S. has like Tesla cannons and body armor, heavy infantry, and walkers in 3 different flavors.
Yeah.
So is the game itself just like a 2-player like skirmish?
No, not at all. It can go pretty big.
Okay.
Like I've watched some videos now because I
Checked it out.
I kind of tripped and fell down this hole as I was walking, because, as Bill said, like, I really got the sense from you guys, without actually having this confirmed, that this was the one place like RPPR and company would not go. So I was trying not to
And
like.
here comes the part where Ross reiterates that he would gladly play minis, but never could get anybody else to.
Yeah, well, yeah. But there was a time where I did play Warhammer 40k, and the problem was
The
that
dark years.
only one person would do it, and then he gave up on it, and I didn't want to play random people at
Because it's not a Necron brain.
Yeah, because of, again, the user accurate. And just the RPPR people, we tend to prefer like multiplayer games, like one-on-one competitive games. Like you and Dan are the only people really into even Magic, which is a huge game.
Right.
So, but anyway, so yeah.
But yeah, the demo setup was running 4 players.
Wow. Was it like
Teams.
It was two armies.
Okay.
Yeah,
but I'm
I've
pretty
gotten kind of the sense that it does
Scales up.
It does kind of need kind of a little. You can definitely have a GM and kind of run like very specific scenarios and stuff. And actually already started writing one just in case, because we've got.
So did you pick up the rules for it, or are they
Not yet. That's what I was talking about before we started the podcast. They got rated. Like, this was the first run. Like, this thing's not even out yet.
Oh,
really.
okay.
Like these guys had to beg for like to get enough stuff for a demo and like on top of their stock to sell.
Yeah.
And so far, all they've got are starter kits for the U.S. and Germany. Though all 5 major powers will be represented. Currently, I think the rule book only really talks about 4, and Japan will come out early next year or later this year, from what they were saying. But yeah, so like Britain, that's U.S. and Germany we kind of ran through. Britain kind of piggybacking off America, the stuff America's bringing over, but like, hey, we have different needs. Like, we have a severe lack of manpower, so they go automaton route. So they have robots and lots of robots.
You said hello?
Yes. And
no, I've already called dibs.
Bill's quite enraptured with those.
I will fight you with it. I will lose, but I will fight you.
You can both.
Yeah,
It's true. Like,
you exactly.
you could get your own Brit army and You can call them Scotland and we'll...
No, I don't believe it was, because bolt action is very well established, and in fact, they're about to release their second ed rules, which the benefits of Conflict 47, they already have them, so it's a kind of a preview for what bolt action is going to get later in the year, because those second eds are.
So how much did the base one cost?
Well,
that's not a base
that's not a
set,
starter,
that's just
an
a
expansion.
booster.
A booster, okay.
but
25 dudes.
Jason should tell you about the story.
Like, this is your hashtag wins of Gen Con.
But yeah, so what they had there, they had the starter kits. Starter kit's about a 600, 700 point army, and a max army is 1,000 points. Like, that's what you should try for air quotes, competitive play and whatnot. So there's obviously room for expansion. But they had those. They had a few of the German light mechs, and then they had like one American medium mech that you can't find like anywhere. Like I think I saw 2 on Amazon, and that's it. Like, they don't even show them on the actual website. But yeah, so they had those, and they sold that out almost immediately, like by Friday. And they had another shipment coming in for the big rush on Saturday, and some rule books.
And it was gone by the time I was demoing it by mid-afternoon on Saturday.
Yeah.
They had 2 base sets left, and that was it. And they were gone by the time the demo was over.
Exactly. Yeah. No. They sold them while we were sitting there. But yeah, so I went over there, and one of their sales guys, Emiliano, really great cat. He was. If you try anything like this, and I was like, nah, man, like, nobody I know does miniatures, like, So he ran me through all this stuff, and then they introduced me to Shane and some of the other guys that were there, and then I grabbed Melissa, and we did the demo while Renee was in a crafting thing.
And beat 2 small children.
Yes, kicked the crap out of a couple of 12-year-olds, and it was amazing. Yes.
I just for legal purposes.
Yes. No,
Not.
Didn't touch them. They're sweet kids. They had a lot of fun. We tried not to make them feel bad. They couldn't roll to save their lives. Like,
Literally rolling against a girl, and girls always have really good rolling. That's the way it goes.
So then I told Bill about this, and Bill's like, oh, hey, this actually sounds interesting. So
it looks like
we all came back because again, 4-player. We had 4 players, but they already had to be waiting. So I was like, Renee and Bill, go play, because me and Melissa had played before. And so they played. This is funny, but Germany had been getting beat a lot in the demo. The starter kit does seem to favor America just a tad, just the way their board was laid out.
just like it should be.
So they didn't have a lot of the crazy cool stuff, but somehow this guy came up with some of the werewolves.
Yeah.
And when Renee's learning games, she kind of stone faces.
Focus face.
And this GM was like really personable. Like, he was really into getting people having fun, and like she's sitting over there, and he thinks she's not having fun. He's seen me several times. We've been talking a lot, so he gives her the werewolves, which absolutely wrecked when she used them. I'll try it, and just kept hooking her up, and she just kept sitting there.
Once I figured out that he was like I'm just wearing my normal face, but he thinks that I'm upset. So once I figured that out, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna start fake emoting to make him feel better, because he's also giving me stuff. So I'll just hang out over here being myself and not
Get more
pretend
werewolves.
to be like.
So the Germans won actually pretty handedly that game.
Turns out letting werewolves close to
Tom was
melee
like,
is bad.
Yeah.
So last day comes up, and I didn't get a chance to buy anything because we didn't get to bring a lot of funds to Gen Con this year, which hopefully will be different next year because there's so many cool things.
That is Gen Con.
But so we had valet parking at our hotel, and it was over at 4, and Bill thought the expo hall was closing at 5, so we had to go get the cars. They text me, hey, it's closing in 30 minutes, and I'm like, oh crap, because one of the things these guys do is if you can get like your local game store to buy into Conflict 47, you get free army. And seeing the prices on these things, because like you held up that starter kit over there, that's $30-$40 worth of miniatures right there, and that's 25 guys. That's not even close to a full army that you're supposed to have.
That's still better than Game Workshop prices.
Oh no, I'm sure. I know it's way better than everybody kept making fun of Warhammer 40K, because I actually started hitting up a lot of miniatures tables like, I wonder like what the differences are. And, no, the general consensus
The difference is that 40K is terrible.
Yes.
I'm sorry, 40K players. I've played 40K. I've read 40K. I have 40K RPGs. It's just Games Workshop is a garbage company.
Wow.
You heard it here first, folks.
Shots fired over the bow.
They're not even going to be like, yeah, I can't argue against that. I said the company, remember. Anyway,
Well, we kind of read some
So
road
I'm going
trade.
to talk to these guys, and kind of
On
get
Sunday.
information on how to because
Yeah.
we're going to go talk to metagames and whatnot, and they're all there.
they have good tables.
They're all hanging.
Yeah.
They're all hanging out there because there's a Halo miniatures game next to them that they wanted to demo because obviously they worked the whole time and didn't get to demo it. And they start chatting to me, and I'm asking them all this stuff, and and I'm thanking them for such a fun time because I did spend a lot of time over there, and they were really nice guys, really great people, and they were just like, well, how familiar are you, with Voltex? I was like, dude, I never heard of any of this stuff until I talked to you guys, and he goes, wait a minute. He turns around, he walks over because all the conflict was gone, but the World War II bolt action stuff was still out,
Yeah.
and he grabs me an infantry set for every country, which is about $140 worth of miniatures, and just handed them to me and was like, there you go, go get started with that.
Awesome.
Because I told him we were all planning on buying once the stuff was
Yeah.
coming out later in the year, because they sold everything. Like the creator of the game flew over from Britain, like he'd never actually gotten to hold it in his hands, and he was just
We were standing there when he saw it for the very first time, and it was really fun.
yeah, he was like a little kid. It was really nice and sweet. And then they had a bunch of demo pictures of the other models, which. Bill has suggested if you want to do this might be your choice. The Soviets in this lore get left completely in the lurch on all the cool stuff. So being good Soviets, they just start stealing everything. So they have a nice mix of everything. They have zombies, but their zombies are ice zombies, so they're flamethrower proof. They managed to get the werewolf formula, but since they don't have too many wolves, they decide to inject bears with them and then give those bears sledgehammers.
And Tom is sneezing rapidly again.
I would only. Well, there was an. If I did that, I would do that. This unfortunately, this unit they had an unfortunate side effect. They're all pink with little white, and they have like rainbows on the chest. So it would be the Care Bears.
Well, no, they tattoo that on their bellies to identify them. So they're
Yeah. So that's no. It sounds great.
Comrade hugs a lot.
These two guys,
It's for the good of the people.
Chris Hale, John Kay, Russ Charles, they took the bolt action rules and they wrote this. Apparently, it's an excellent book. I flipped through and there's a lot of good stuff in it, and designed their own models and everything. And then Clockwork Goblin Miniatures is building the miniatures, and then obviously Warlord Games is the one doing all the distribution stuff.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to look into that more and probably do some reviews or maybe a video let's play of it or something like that.
So I pre-ordered the rule book, and it'll be here next week. The rule book is officially released on Amazon next week, and Amazon's got it on sale. But if you buy it from Warlord, you get a free hero unit from them. So.
Okay.
It's just
No, I'm definitely going to look into it because again, like I've always the games I actually had the most fun with were in minis games were skirmish games where you could have multiple players like Mordheim, especially Mordheim, and this sounds like that kind of scratches that same itch of like. But also going back to game demos, I do want to go back. Aaron, did you figure out the name of that game?
Yes, thank you, Kyle Cardi, because he was the one who actually demoed it with me. This is actually a game that was kickstarted successfully, and they were actually doing the first playtest. Like I said, it was a brother and sister duo, young kids. It's called Dragonstone Mine.
Dragonstone Mine.
Yeah, mine. Just note that in. But what it is, and I'll put the picture over here, is that each player has these pegboards going around, and they have a bag which is full of their gems and cards that will reveal what you can mine each turn. And basically the point of it is to get a solid color set up in all 5 of your pegs, or a rainbow set. But as you're going through, you have ones where you can screw over the other players by forcing them to take other pegs off and then putting different colors on their sides as well. A really cool little strategy game, although it was interesting for me because I was sad I couldn't pick up a copy because, again, my current job, I was looking at this going as an intervention tool with teaching. I was like, hey, that was actually pretty nifty for patients.
Fair. Did you pick up a copy?
It's not fully released yet. It's still in their Kickstarter production right now. So
they completed their Kickstarter?
Yeah, they completed Kickstarter successfully, and they said it should be out by late fall, early winter, if I'm not mistaken. So, and I need to make a correction before we go for it. True Dungeon, Jeb, you were also with us. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I knew I was forgetting somebody else. The one guy who came down here, I am an asshole. I am so sorry.
I'll accept that.
Whatever. Jeb's already got the benefit of all the time he's putting
he's the one who
got
actually
to come down and drink with us.
True. But I did do two other tests as well. Kat, Kyle, and their other two friends that they brought with the first time as well, Dwight and Carrie. Dwight and Carrie had never played Settlers of Catan before, and they were doing the large variant of it, which I had never played before, and where you had the competing islands and rivers, which was fun, but half the time we're yelling down at each other, trying to get these. Talking about different trends, like, do you have this? Do you have this? The sun has to win. Oh my god, what the hell are we doing? It
was just like normal Catan.
Catan, but except on a larger scale. And the only issue that I had with it is that because you're using the long maps going down and they had the table set up, it would seem more conducive if they actually had a round one going where you could complement 12 players in total, but have everybody connecting. Because the big problem ended up being the two people at the end of the maps could actually trade with each other, but half the time they were screaming at each other and couldn't hear.
Was this in the exhibit hall?
Yeah, this is actually at Mayfair's exhibit
Yeah, they have
hall.
a huge presence there.
They did, and it was the first time. Since I've not demoed the thing, I actually got one of the ribbons. And found out apparently if you get all the ribbons by demoing different games, because they were doing the Catan resources for that, clay something, but you could actually get a special item, like it was a Catan item or something. I didn't care as much to do it, but that was fine. And then, despite what Kat might now say, I did actually do a small mini demo of the Mega Man game just to finally get the feel of it. And they kind of ran me through how one of the boss battles works.
Yeah.
So
there was also a CCG for that. I'm surprised you're not surprised you haven't evangelized that to all of us.
Well, again, I'm honestly out of the CCG except for the Magic stuff that I really play with you guys every once in a while. So
fair.
And but honestly, this was more interesting as something repeatable versus going into competitive mode. So
okay,
CCGs don't just have to be competitive.
It can be for fun. Speaking of card games, outside you might have heard a minute ago was Melissa removing the lid.
Guys. Yeah.
No, it's like a sci-fi.
We
thing.
avoided the box fart.
Dominion.
So this is an expansion for Dominion.
Yeah.
What's
Dominion Empires.
Yeah.
Is what it's
I'm sorry.
called.
What?
Empires.
Empires. Okay.
Yeah.
Dominion Empire.
And we're big Dominion fans.
We love Dominion.
It's taking up an entire row on one of our bookshelves. All
Shelf
there.
and a half.
Yeah.
Half and a half. We own every single one.
So this is with that said, and the fact that we've played a lot of Dominion, I really feel like this is one of the better expansions. There's just a lot of neat little spins on the core mechanics of the game, and a lot of it is kind of game theory Prisoner's Dilemma-ish, where different kingdom setups will build up things, and you're playing these kingdom cards that are generating this advantage that's just sitting out there waiting for somebody to be the bastard who plays the card and instead chooses to claim it.
Right.
So it's a very tragedy of the commons kind of thing. But
and one of the elements that it introduces that it hasn't had before a whole lot is debt, which you've never really been able to go into debt and claim things for amounts that you don't own. But this one lets you do that and is a total game changer.
Oh, yeah.
So did you actually get to play this, or did you just?
We demoed it in the Rio Grande room, and then
Immediately
there was-
Only time I've ever won a Dominion game.
Sure, Jason did. You won the demo game.
But the one thing about Dominion, if people are listening who've never experienced it, one of the great little side bennies, there's usually a little in-universe bit to sort of introduce the theme.
Intro text.
Yeah, and the intro text is just, it's sort of perfectly, vaguely surreal. So I'm going to render that for us now, because it's important.
Dramatic reading by Bill Wall.
The world is big, and your kingdom gigantic. It's no longer a kingdom, really. It's an empire, which makes you the emperor. This entitles you to a better chair. Plus, you can name a salad after yourself. It's not easy being emperor. The day starts early when you light the sacred flame. Then it's hours of committee meetings, trying to establish exactly why the sacred flame keeps going out. Sometimes your armies take over a continent and you just have no idea where to put it. And then there's the risk of assassination. You have a food taster who tastes anything before you eat it, and a dagger tester who gets stabbed by anything before it stabs you. You've taken to staying at home whenever it's the Ides of anything. Still, overall, it's a great job. You wouldn't trade it for the world, especially given how much of the world you already have.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, that's pretty good. Is this brand new? Did this just come out for Gen Con?
I don't know if it was Gen Con.
But it's brand new.
It's
brand
relatively new.
There were not a lot of places carrying it. And
Yeah.
I think they sold out on some of the.
Saturday.
Probably.
Yeah.
I picked it up on Friday or so. Well, it still seemed...
It sounds fun. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
But we have since played a few different games of the whole thing and liked every combination so far.
Yeah. Like, usually in the expansion, there's one, like, bogey, but we have yet to find it.
If you are new to Dominion, this is probably not the expansion to start with.
No.
I would say that.
Yeah.
It sounds a little more advanced.
There's
Yeah.
It's
so
kinda
many,
deep in
so
this
many
shit, yeah.
chainsaws to juggle with this.
Yeah, that is a good way of saying it.
Yeah.
But if you are an experienced player, it is a must-have.
If you have a shelf, if you have
If-
a full
yes,
bookshelf of Dominion.
I would rate this
You're
as about a
committed
half-shelf
player.
expansion.
This will get, even if you have built up a tolerance of Dominion, this
Right.
This is a fresh
Still get
hit.
that
Like,
Dominion high.
this is cracked, the Dominion cocaine.
Oh yeah. So it sounds like everybody had a lot of great time just playing new games.
Yeah.
At Gen Con. Were there any things you'd like to do differently, or like that what lessons you've learned of terms of having fun? Because I mean, obviously, the things like don't book events one right after the other. Like Aaron, do you think you're going to be doing True Dungeon again next year?
Yeah, I would love to do True Dungeon. And honestly, I think we all did the appropriate thing. And I want again special thanks to both Jen Granis, because she and Micah Nielsen, because they were the ones who got who actually secured our tickets for that, because as we learned for the first time going through, they run out quickly.
Yeah.
Even more so than normal events at Gen Con do.
Like,
'Cause-
I waffled when that came up as to whether it sounded like a thing we wanted to do, and then
it was
option
gone.
was no longer present.
So yeah, for next one, and we probably will talk about it in group me, but
Yes.
just designating the one person to slam down
Right.
on that hard and get through it as well. No, the only thing that I think I planned, because most of my day, I actually spent a lot with different listeners this time around, because I've not gotten a lot of that hang time. But planning out, blocking out certain alternate events, especially ones that would be on fly, like we didn't get to do the BattleTech pod this year, which it's every once in a while, but trying to maybe schedule that event out too, and then a couple more panels, because I rarely ever have gone to those a couple ones. So, but no, this year actually was very nice, especially since having that free time. It actually allotted me more time to talk to Glancy, Stolzy, everybody else, and actually I talked to Ken this year a little bit more, and I was still, and I kind of wondered these ways, like, oh god, you still remember who I am? So, which I do have to tell the one funny story I got from that. So, because I took the Pelgrane plunge and finally bought, because they had like buy 3 get 1.
Yep. My wallet was also gently milked by them, as Caleb has ably put it in the past.
Actually, I need to tell you that too, because you'd be proud of me. There was a Square Enix figure from Roxas from Kingdom Hearts 2. They wanted 150 for it, and I went, no. My Pelgrane purchases were only about 120. I felt I came off better.
You did.
You did. Yeah.
But
I mean, what are you going to do with a Roxas figure? That's enough books to kill a rat or small dog with.
I know.
Or probably stop a low caliber bullet.
I know. Anyway,
or something like
But,
that.
I mean, that would be a horrible waste. We won't be trying.
Well, it's a measure of last resort.
So
Right.
smacking a dog.
but anyway, I came across.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. You're right. They will kill a rat at some point, I guess, or a rat thing. I was once a man. Sorry, Sean.
That was good. I like it.
But I picked up Trail of Cthulhu.
Good.
Night's Black Agents, Dracula Dossier, and Dracula Unredacted. And
Nice.
the great thing happened. I had Gareth and Ken both signed it.
Me too.
I did Garrett first. And he said he signed
Signature
it.
buddies.
Signature buddies. He signed it first. And he said, "All right, when you go over to Ken, tell him I begrudgingly give my pen to him." I go over to Ken, and he said he fucking stole my pen. So he opens up Knights Black Agents and my personal ability, because he always does the ability. I have +2 to filching pens. It is the greatest one. I was like,
at such time as I ever get around to running Dracula Dossier, if you are in it, we will have a scene with bank tellers.
With bank tellers.
Where that will come up.
Can I get most of the beads on my side?
Use it as a garrote later.
And obviously, going to Gen Con again is more like part of like schedule and finances and a lot of other factors that are outside of your control. Especially if family members having a wedding or something like that. So, and you get things you can't control. But if you could go next year, would you? And what kind of things do you think you'll do differently next time?
I think we'll absolutely go again if we can.
Because I know Caleb, for example, is not going because of teaching, because it's later in August.
Yeah,
next
it
year,
makes it more difficult.
Yeah.
I actually prefer it because the day, Wednesday was my birthday this year. We were driving basically all day on my birthday. So I think
you did get your favorite pizza.
I did get Giordano's the next day, and oh my god, I love Giordano so much.
Worth going to.
And you also got Opal dice.
I did. Jason bought me opalite dice, which you cannot see them, but they're so beautiful.
We'll spread them out and take a photo.
What company did you get them from?
Those are from MD6.
They are relatively sharp.
Oh my god, they are. Well, yeah,
God,
they're very nice.
They're so beautiful. Wow. Yeah, MD6. Yeah. They also were giving out D6s.
Yeah,
free D6s in your little coupon book. So you probably you might have stopped by their table, but yeah, I stopped by their table, and then I saw they had opalite dice, and I was like,
yes, please.
Must have. But I didn't buy them, and then Jason got them for me in secret, and then
husband points.
Yeah, gave them to me later. He also, this is totally not about Gen Con, but he also found Magic Flame candles that have different colored flames on each candle, and he put them in a cupcake, and it was prettiest candles I've ever
roamed the city
seen.
in 100% humidity for an hour and a half, trying to chase them down because Dan and Michelle and Bill and Melissa decided it was a good time for tours of Gen Con.
It was a good time in their defense, but
And don't you love that downtown Indianapolis?
Yeah.
You mean the raw sewage?
Yeah. So
it's magical.
Oh no, the highlight was walking past the Pokey when they were letting people out, and they were all asking for anything to pay for bus fares, and me being the nice guy, I gave them all the cash I had, which
So
wasn't much, but still.
so nice. So things I would do differently. Probably next year I won't go to as many crafting things, not because I didn't enjoy them, but because
you've done that part.
I've done that part, yeah.
There's
now
so much
and
to do.
I mean, I might go to one session, but I probably won't go to so many because I went to 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's how I did it last year.
5, I think.
That's quite a few.
So I'll step back on that because I've done that. But
what kind of events do you think you would be more interested in going next time? Like trying out new games,
yeah, probably. Jason and I did one
seminars and panels on other things.
Yeah, Jason and I did one. Well, it kind of also depends on if they have any interesting authors, because I know that there's a whole section of the things, and I wasn't super into. I think it was a tour editor. But I would have gone to that, but we were exhausted at that point. Well, so I know that Mercedes Lackey has been there before. I saw something about that, and so if she's ever there, I'm going to everything because I love Mercedes Lackey. But maybe go to more of those. We played Firefly with expansions. We did one of those that was kind of
the board game.
And that was really fun.
We've done the first, the standard when it first came out, and it's a really good board game.
Yeah. So I mean, if we could do that a little bit, just actually playing games a little bit more, that would be cool. And the full game, not just a demo of the game kind of a thing. That would be nice. But
so would you actually consider going into any role playing events too, or other?
Sure.
players?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. if I would want to do like a straight up role playing game, like because it tends to take forever, and it's
4
such
hours,
a well, and it's such a roll of the dice, excuse the pun, on who you're gonna get, and that makes me slightly nervous.
And you're not unjustified that, because I've had great games before, but like the first one I ever did for mine, we had Star Wars Lady, which we've said stories before, and it was
She was not prepared.
She was not prepared.
Yeah, and so like I mean something that doesn't require a lot of prep probably, but something that's like more like hardcore, that's probably not the time that I would want to get into that.
Jason, anything else?
I was pretty satisfied with rolling my usual strategy on stuff. I had enough general tickets to do things, but I didn't actually end up getting to use them.
I think we can get a refund on those.
Yeah, we did.
did.
Yeah, not complaining about that at all. I didn't spend enough time in the open gaming area to explore it enough to utilize those.
Oh, yeah.
Because so many of the stuff that I was interested in, I was able to demo and learn instead of,
There are things like games on demand, and they also added recently First Exposure Playtest Hall, where you can jump in on. They'll just tell you, hey, we have this type of game. They don't tell you everything about it. Mm-hmm. It's like it's 2 hours to try out this new game, and you just go in and you can playtest things that aren't out yet. So.
Yeah, I probably would dig that. Yeah.
I see that every year, and like this year, that's the people that run Metatopia, which make me interested to participate in it, but then I forget.
Yeah, yeah, that's another thing. Is there's so much going on that you always forget something that you want to do. So yeah, it sounds like you pretty much.
But yeah. I mean, I kind of wore myself out a lot of days, so like that's why I didn't.
A lot of walking around.
Yeah, so I didn't come hang out with the RPPR crew and stuff, and I kind of wish I'd done that, gotten the socials a little bit, but
they brought
just
many
little
refreshments. That was very nice.
Yes.
How many evenings do you remember past?
I remember all of them. Thank you very much.
I think really Sean is the only one who might have gotten close to blackout.
There were some people who from our. I really want to hear Sean because he didn't go to sleep the last night. He just stayed up. Or David. Yeah. They just stayed up and did not come back to their hotel room. So
okay, I have to ask you. I know this is a little bit, maybe even more after hours. But did he wake you up with a snoring the minute he came back in?
No, I did hear that. Yeah,
it was chainsaw.
Yeah, he was quite tired by the time he got back at 7 a.m. or whatever. So there were some photos posted that were wow. All right. So Bill, Melissa, any other changes? Anything?
Just like I said before, schedule a little better.
Yeah.
I think I don't regret either year at this point, the way things worked out.
Yeah.
Like I went to a lot of panels last year, and I went to fewer this year because I've sort of learned how to read like what's going to be new information and what's going to be just, this is the panel that someone gives every year.
Yeah.
And so I think next year I'll be able to improve on that and maybe give it a little more concern as for time of day. And, I'll kind of echo what Jason was saying. I didn't manage to do a lot of socialing this time around, and I would like to do more of that.
Yeah. We do have the entire RPPR panel meetup recorded, and we will post that at some point so you can hear the whole thing. So we don't. But yeah, it was very, again, as I mentioned in the other segment, it was very helpful. Thank you all so much. Everyone had a good time. And Aaron, I do want to mention though, Aaron, your experiences in it because you got to experience the joys of being a minor internet celebrity.
I guess
signatures for the shark fighting.
I guess I got upgraded from like sub Z grade internet celebrity to like
regular Z.
Y maybe.
Oh come on! So, anyways, what was it like?
No, that's perfect.
I'll actually attribute. I'll actually attach words to this. My poor untrained words. No, I was humbled. Honestly, I was very overwhelmed by that because to everybody who showed up for there, I know I already said that before. Thank you. I can't speak for everybody else in there, but I think that the sentiment is echoed that we absolutely love you all, and we were just humbled. I couldn't believe how many people showed up too, and outside of the core people we've really gotten to know too, and we've gotten to know, but even these more new people too, and these strange new faces.
You calling them ugly?
It's again outside of the people that we've grown to know. That's what I'm going to. Sorry.
They only have 2 eyes. We all have 3 in
Yeah.
Springfield, so I don't know. That's why
No, thank you.
It's so
No,
confusing.
thank you. And I actually I have to say this too, because I got a call from my parents, my mom, because she was just checking in after they got back from a trip, and I told her that there was a line in front of me, and I got like 4 seconds of dead silence before she kind of got really, and then like, but I was like. I'm glad you enjoyed Patsy's artwork of representing me of doing something incredibly stupid, and I hope I can.
It was incredibly entertaining,
and I hope I can entertain you with continuing increasing stupidity in the future. So
just keep being you. Don't
Yeah.
you don't have to play it up. You can just be you.
Please don't play it up.
yeah. And the other thing I forgot to mention too, I got to do actual full cosplay group this year.
Oh yeah,
It's true.
With Cat Kyle.
And by the way, and there's photos of that. I think if you want to post them, if you have any photos of like the panel, the meetup, or anything else, I'll have a link to the RPPR forum thread where you can share them. So though if you're concerned about your privacy, they won't be tagged on Facebook or whatever. But if you want to share anything else, please do so. Because you cosplayed as a Digimon.
Oh yeah, we did all the Tamer group from season 3. So
Digimon,
no worries. So you'll notice to see it. Also going back, and I was with Jen George. If there are any Steven Universe fans out there,
they did.
They did Rose Quartz and Greg Universe from there when he was younger. So and got a lot of pictures taken of him. So you will find those on the internet. Awesome Rose Quartz. Find it. It's there.
Thank you all so much. I think it's amazing to me is how positive and like welcoming the RPPR fan base has been for everyone else. It's become like I've people have told me that like I come to Gen Con by myself, and then like there's all these people here, and I can hang out. They're all my friends, and it's just like it's real nice. We're not scary elitist guys who just hate on things all day. We're about having fun and enjoying games, and so. Thank you all for being such great fans, great listeners. So,
absolutely,
indeed.
Yeah, and that will end this segment. Did you have anything else to say?
I'll throw out this much.
Okay.
In regards to the meetup, I think like everybody like the Ross Payton impersonation contest.
I mentioned that.
Was good. Also, I think the inaugural play of Shark Punch went
great,
over fairly well.
Which is going to be interesting to listen to.
Yeah,
it's kind of a visual game.
Yeah. Maybe kind of dead air. Yeah.
Well, I was almost kind of worried at some point he would just go into like mosh pit, like Shark Punch instantly.
There was chasing at the end. Yeah.
Hopefully, given the number of people we had, we have a bigger room next year. Because we will slowly roll on that.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go ahead and throw down the gauntlet now to force myself to get in contact with people and do this. Since next year will technically be the 10-year anniversary of RPPR.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
RPPR Trivia.
Okay, all right.
RPPR, the trivia game. It's coming.
Yeah, there will be.
From the makers of USAopoly.
I'll leave prizes. I wasn't going to commit to that, but...
Oh, no, there'll be prizes.
Yeah, we got to figure out something.
I have old things we reviewed for After Hours that you could totally win because I don't necessarily...
And copies of Zombies of the World.
Maybe I'll make cookies.
And Base Raiders and all kinds of other stuff. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, no, bring
Guys, seriously, raw cookies.
David Fudge. That could be
and David Fudge. Like, we could have, RPPR comestibles prizes.
Yes, so we'll have we will try and organize that. So this is maybe the second or third segment. I don't know how I'm going to organize
Segment
this.
X.
But thank you all so much, and now Vaporwave.
Church with Role Playing Public Radio. This is RPPR Post Gen Con Wrap Up Part 1.
Are we 1, 2, or 3?
We are number 1, according to Ross.
We are number 1! Woo. Wow.
Yeah, we're doing this in 3 parts because, well, what we normally do is all of us who went, we all gather around the old microphone and spin yarns about what we did. But this year, there were too damn many of us.
Yeah, we actually had a metric fuck ton of people going up this year.
I think we actually might have got to ass load.
Wow.
We had multiple caravans.
Yes,
Yes.
we had
Literally
I think we had
multiple
5
things.
cars going this year.
Well, let's see. There's
6
2
cars.
Priuses. There was Greg's. There was Faust's. There was yours, and then
I could swear there was one more. But you know what?
There's a Google Doc up for it.
Everybody counts. Yeah, we had to have
Everybody counts.
spreadsheets to figure out how we were going to do this.
Yeah.
So it
And
went
there's only going to be more going next year.
Well, yeah.
oh, thank God for that.
So we've got it like basically we are constantly learning about logistics. But no, this for right now this is simply the stories and experiences of Sean, Tom, David, and Faust.
Greg.
I know.
This is Greg.
I totally messed that up because I'm totally thinking of something else. This is Greg. I am so sorry. Greg, would you forgive me?
No.
Very well. Can I give you an ecto cooler afterwards as a way of an apology?
Okay, fine.
Excellent. The ecto cooler it unites us all.
I'm
no,
Greg.
sorry. Yes, Sean, Tom, David, and Greg are group number 1.
Get it right, Tom.
I'm sorry. I'm drunk on life.
I'm Greg, by the way. I'm the new weird one.
Yes, indeed. You will quickly come to know
Well, wait
Greg
a
by the
minute.
games we're doing on
Now,
tabletop
back up the turkey
tales.
truck. I'm the weird one. You can't be the weird one.
No, David. I actually heard we're all the weird one.
Shit.
I know. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, forget you guys. I'm normal.
All right, then. So let's move on
Get
to general
the fuck out of
impressions.
here.
We've got a couple of multi-goers to Gen Con, but I believe this was Sean's first.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're popping a cherry here, boys.
Yeah. No, it was one of those things. I was on the pre-Gen Con show, and I, made the comment that I was probably just gonna not have terribly too many plans and wander around like a lost child looking for people to latch on to so I could figure out what was what. And that's pretty much what happened. Yeah.
You were a very adorable little child.
There we go.
You were amazing, though.
First of all, yes, I'm going to say, people, Sean is a good road trip mate.
Well, except when I'm passed out. But
I think that I kind of
Then
fit
you're
that
better.
same criteria because I was also a good road trip mate, except for the times when I was passed out.
And as a driver, you don't get that option, do you?
no.
It's like the drivers.
Well, that one time there was that one time.
But
It's like that part you slept through. Thanks.
so no, it was a.
Well, there was road work. We were fine.
It was an interesting experience. Again, I'd never been to a large convention before. The most I'd done was the local one here in Springfield. It's no longer even in Springfield, VisionCon.
Yeah.
It's in
That was-
Branson now.
that was really I would just go in for.
And actually,
here's
it's
the
still weird. Per capita, I think there were still more drunks at VisionCon than there are at Gen Con.
I made up for that. Anyhow, wow. So
I think we should mention first of
I
all,
helped.
like before we do anything about the con, every year there's either road construction or an accident. The accident we got this year was a doozy.
We had both.
But the accident was like it was.
yeah.
It was 2 semis having collided in the.
Oh, there was
opposite-
2 of them?
yeah, it was pretty awful.
And they had come from the westbound lane, crossed the median, and one truck had gotten completely entangled in the wires, separating the median, which thankfully did their job. But it's like, wow, those 2 trucks.
In this case, though, their job also entailed, let's shred the front of this thing. And I mean, they ripped that cab down to the engine.
Yeah, and luckily the driver was just standing there looking pissed.
Yeah. Well, of course he's pissed. One, that's his truck, and I'm not sure how much of its insurance deductible is going to go to that. 2, the load is going to have to be picked up by somebody else, and there's going to be towing involved. And
Also, 3, the guy's alive. Let's
Put
just-
on to better things, guys.
Yeah, no, it had to be
Yeah.
mentioned. That's
Let's keep this
always
going.
that's always part of Gen Con.
So we got
always.
after getting lost a little bit, we actually got there, and the first night was obviously I managed to. That was the first time I actually met up with any listeners, and everybody I met was awesome.
That's why Gen Con's so awesome. Is
Yes.
I mean, if it was just the games and the dealer room, it'd be pretty damn fun. But what makes it awesome is meeting up with our fans.
So
yes, and making friends with all of them.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that I haven't gotten to, and I have to say that this is the best and worst thing of Gen Con, a statement I've made a number of times, that there is simply not enough time to get to have fun with everybody. Some people you handshake and say, we're going to do something a little bit later, and you never get that chance. And my apologies to everybody that I didn't get to pencil into my dance card.
But yeah, so impressions as a first
But
timer.
we'll make up for it.
The quick version is
Next time, Gadget.
the quick version is I walked for 75+% of the time. It was usually going somewhere and like a little bit of time spent actually there. But the dealer's room was the thing I was like expecting to do, and so I had this.
We might have overhyped it a tad.
A fuck ton. So, I'm getting there. I'm expecting to wander through this football field-sized dealer room, and surely something will just scream at me and say, "Buy me now!" I'll have this aha moment. It'll be wonderful. And I walked that entire dealer's room, every booth. There were some really cool things, actually, but nothing jumped out at me, so I was kind of disappointed and kind of pissed off at the people that just stop in the middle of the aisle.
No, the dealer room's not so much a dealer room as a game of dodge everybody.
Right. And so there was that, but no, it was really cool, though.
With a splash of murder ball thrown in.
A little bit of murder ball.
That was closer to my experience right there. But no. Does that turn me away from the whole thing? Hell no. I think I only had two specific events lined up. One of them was, of course, the meetup, which was wonderful.
Always good times.
Always good times.
And then there was a LARP that David and I had agreed to both go to.
Yes, it was Call of Cthulhu meets 50s beach movies. It was called Beach Blanket Byakhee.
Yep.
And it was amazing for me that nobody went for Frankie or Annette, but we had a bunch of really strong supporting cast members, including the two of us. Sean was the Eric von Zippa analog.
Eric von Son.
And I was the Big Kahuna.
And we did we take over that game?
I don't think we completely took it over,
okay.
But I know that I was trying very, very hard not to metagame for the first part of it because I saw that basically I had the wisdom of the ocean and I could hear it and realized this is a Call of Cthulhu game and nothing good ever comes out of the ocean.
Yeah, we discovered
if it's talking to you, that's even worse.
We discovered at the end, because we pretty much doomed the entire group, that you were not in fact Surf Jesus.
I was not in fact Surf Jesus, although everybody thought I was Surf Jesus.
You played that up well.
I think I played it really, really well. This is Kahuna's beach, man. I mean, there's going to be surfing.
And then you died.
And then I died. Turns out that I was the prophet of Dagon the entire time, and guess who summoned the end?
Yep.
Yeah.
But hey, good times were had. It was a great thing.
Well, just have to say, you were like 150% more effective than the real Eric von Zippa.
Well, I think that's actually a break in character. I don't know. I think by the end of the thing, I was almost a cult leader.
Well, almost. And apparently, one of the rats had a plan, so technically you were a cult leader. You just did not enact your ritual. So,
someone gave Sean power.
I know. They gave me the power to make people freeze, and I used it to engage one gang beating and enact a robbery.
Yeah, but the robbery was stealing the idol for the greater good.
Which ended with me shouting, "Run!" Good. So that was great. No, we actually got approached by one of the co-authors of it, who was one of the GMs, who made a point of saying you guys were fucking awesome. So that was really cool.
It's great to get
that
props
is a direct quote.
isn't it?
And then I actually awkwardly said, we're professionals, and then toddled off like an idiot. So
you're not used to praise, are you?
No.
Well,
no.
I said to the guy, this is his first Gen Con, and I believe it is his first LARP with complete strangers, and he goes, holy shit.
Actually, not the first one. That was a vampire LARP in high school. But anyhow.
Well, still.
Yeah.
I think that my personal triumph of it was managing to completely derail the entire adventure for a solid 30 seconds with a well-timed atomic pun.
Oh, that one. We were in the middle of a fight, and
the way that you resolve fights in this one was to point your finger and say bang, and then narrate how you were going to do the damage. And so, in the middle of the volleyball game, there's a massive fight that breaks out, and over to the side
they were cheating! Sorry.
And over to the side we hear...
Somebody shouts bang, and then David says...
No, it wasn't just one somebody. There were
a lot of people shouting
four or
bang,
five.
bang, bang, bang.
And I said, hey, man, I'm not one to interrupt a gangbang, but the volleyball game is still going on.
Yeah. Oh, Lordy. David, what will we do with you? So, there was
Just
that.
praise the fabulous and keep going.
There we go.
I will pat his shoulder. There we go. I have just done
So, Greg, you had a couple of events yourself.
Yeah, I had my first proper LARP as well. There was this time a couple years ago a vampire LARP, but nothing happened, and I will not speak of it. But I
Does
went
Vampire
to...
really traumatize people that badly?
Well, it's not the game itself.
It's the people.
Oh,
yeah.
It's,
okay.
yeah.
I went to a Gen Con.
It's not the tool, it's the people wielding it.
Yeah. I went to a Gen Con LARP a couple years back, and I ran into some of the similar things. There's one that's been going on for years and years and years, and basically they make it an open LARP so that they can gain more people coming in, and thus get more tickets, and thus get a larger space. But they basically relegate the new kids to the kids' table, and everybody else gets to play.
Oh, so that's like Ross's infamous World of Darkness LARP story from the downtown area that we were both in, actually, which was really terrible.
Where downtown? Where it might have been the same game.
It was on the square.
Okay, it wasn't that one, but it was close.
Okay.
That's exactly what happened. It was like 4 or 5 people who were playing their game, and everybody else was pretending to matter.
Hey, can I play with you guys?
No, we're gonna do plot thing. No, doesn't work. But I made a great roll. No. Anyhow, so yeah, you were in a.
But yeah, I was signed up for a ghostly gathering by FYI, Figments of Your Imaginations, and they barely sold enough tickets, I think, to run the game, and some of the people didn't show up, so they refunded our tickets, which was very generous of them, and because they didn't run the event that we were signed up for, but they did run another scenario with a lower player limit. The name of the scenario eludes me, but it was a number of us. I think there were 8 players. We all wake up with splitting headaches in what appears to be either a security vault or a panic room, but with nothing but ourselves, and a security monitor showing the inside of a casino, and a wooden box with strange carvings on it. And, my character woke up with a revolver in his hand with 2 shots discharged, having no idea who he is or why he was there. Fun. None of us knew who we were, or who the other people were, or why we were there. I won't go into more detail in case they run the scenario again at a future con, but it was a lot of fun. For my first proper LARP experience, I kind of just dove in head first, and I was pleased when they said afterwards they couldn't believe that was my first LARP.
Awesome.
At one point, I grabbed the gun off of an unconscious police detective and threatened the entire rest of the group with it. Nice. Good times.
Now that is a good LARP experience right there. And,
all in.
You know, that leads me to a suggestion for next year. I think that we should all invade the same LARP and actually do what Sean was suggesting there and just take it over. If we just go in and make it an RPPR LARP and just get as many RPPR LARPers as we can.
I was going to suggest
LARPers?
I was going to suggest the same thing for the BattleTech pods. I did not get a chance to go this year like I meant to. I know, childhood dream, and then I completely ignored it.
We even went looking for them and found them.
Yeah, and then whatever. But I mean, just as a group, get as many people and just invade and take over an event. Not like take it over like Rest Control. Just we populate the whole thing ourselves.
No, violent overthrow.
We reserve that for the Vampire LARP.
Yeah.
Changelings, ho!
But I'm Pimply Nimblebottom.
Okay, so
yes.
Any other events that we want to call out here?
Well, I got to say that I think I did something unique, maybe even the histories of Gen Con. I used the creation rules for Mutazoids.
Yes.
Ooh. Yes, I got 5, including Chris, Copernicus. Micah made one. I don't need to check the list. I forget everyone else's name, but we basically made, counting Terry, which, by the way, Review Cultist did a fantastic picture of Terry. We should have a link to it or something. But we made now a total of 12 Mutazoids using the Mutazoids rules from the book. But no, we didn't do anything as gauche as play an RPG with them. No, what's going to happen is we rolled them all up, we gave all 12 of them names, and we created a D20 random table for a various job they could have in an office. Rolled that, and make them all members of an office, and Chris, or Review Cultist, he's going to do a picture of all 12 of them in that office, and I'm going to come up with a series of, foibles and adventure that they take within the office of the Paradise Brewing Company. which happens to be entirely staffed by utterly twisted mutants.
I'm looking forward to seeing that, actually.
Because I wanted to do something with it, but I'm like, I want to save the actual running of the game to RPPR. But so that we did that. Also, I did a Call of Cthulhu scenario. A certain person in purple was in that game.
I was, and it gave us one of the most epic. How do I word it? 2-line bits of dialogue. It's, Captain, look at the flag. Not now, Private. I'm shooting things.
But the flag. It was the equivalent of also like just. It's an inside joke. Bones.
Yes, it's the equivalent of the bones. Yes, I see that. There's a flag up there.
But yeah, as the commander of the team, I'm not going to go into the details of the scenario because
he may run it.
Well, no, this is the second time I've run it. The first time
we were not briefed.
And yeah, and it will be posted on RPPR, so you'll know what happened. But let's just say that David was staunchly refusing, like, I'm on a mission. I'm not going to look at the thing that will clearly give me a sand loss. Shut up.
Yes, and Michelle went full fish face. Or Michelle went full fish mouth. I'm sorry. Got to use the right term. Stared into the abyss. Waved. Hugged. Comes back. She seems dangerously sane. Which is a warning sign to anybody who's ever played Cthulhu.
Yeah, when someone's acting really, really sane in Call of Cthulhu, like, shoot them immediately. But also, we were in the I was in 2 Glancy games this year. Mm-hmm. The one he ran for us the first night, which, I'm not going to go into too much detail.
I fall to pieces.
I have no mouth and I must scream. Both of those statements were completely accurate. And I was also in another game of his because I backed the Kickstarter for, I believe, Delta Green. Mm-hmm. And it was using the same basic idea that we used in the first game, only in modern day, and it was Delta Green rules. And I will say that I actually think the modern day Delta Green game was creepier.
Wow.
Uh-huh. And you were in that game, so you know that the first
one...
Actually,
I was not.
No, you're right. Sorry, that's right. You weren't.
To date, I have not had the pleasure of playing in a Adam Scott Glancy game.
Nor I.
Well, you got to meet him finally.
Oh yeah.
He's an awesome, awesome. He's always good. He's always good buck for your Gen Con bang.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
Actually, I think you said that the wrong way.
No, leave it.
Shut up.
We'll fix it in post.
No, we're not. You think we do post? Get the fuck out of here.
Nobody can let that one go.
But I got to do 2 Glancy games, and my overall RPG content at the con was relatively short, but I think that worked for me. Yeah. I spent most of my time relaxing, just talking to Micah, Peter, and everyone else who just were just awesome to talk to.
I didn't actually get a chance to schedule most games. Really, the only scheduled event I had was Beach Blanket Byakuya. Most of the games that I did do were things that we did in the open gaming with our RPPR friends. I know that we've called them fans. I know that we've called them listeners, and I just want to say you guys are all our friends. And
yeah, definitely.
Right, yes.
That's a better way to... You're part of us, and we love you, all of you, so much.
I gotta admit, I didn't get to stay at the RPPR meetup panel the whole time because I had to go to the LARP that I was at that evening. But I was floored by the fact that it was standing room only.
It was packed.
Yeah,
it was
literally standing room only.
And we might actually get a bigger room next year.
Dear Lord, I hope so.
For the number of people that showed up.
And one thing that I do want to touch base on that. There were a lot of our fans who were expecting that the meetup was going to be kind of like it was last year, where we just kind of all sat around and bullshitted. This year kind of turned into a bit of a panel. So I think that we might actually think about scheduling both. An RPPR panel, Q&A, and then the other is just, hey, hang out and bullshit.
Well, I mean, we did a lot of that in the open gaming rooms, which
we did.
That was, for me, the best time at the convention was anytime we were in open gaming. Like, that very first, it was Wednesday night. One, meeting a lot of people, and also playing Cards Against Humanity in a large space that echoes.
That was freaking epic.
And that's also where we coined
you
the
and
term
I
fuck
played
toaster.
Yes. Fuck Toaster and Grandpa's Bazongas.
Grandpa's Bazongas. Oh, there was also was it Boris the Russian Love Hammer?
Boris the Russian Love Hammer.
Boris the Soviet Love Hammer.
That was a Soviet Love Hammer. It's a great
And
phrase.
when you work in an office.
Yep. So,
But on that one too, I just have to jump back. Yes, it was very, very crowded at the meetup, and if it weren't for two specific fans, trying to think how to word this.
Just say it.
Last year, I was in the throes of a nervous breakdown when I came to Gen Con, and I barely made it through it before my house of cards came a-tumbling down. This year, I came with a basket of anxiety and my inner demons in a little cage, which I then painted purple and wrapped in fabulous and just kind of said, I am just going to soldier through all of this and fuck the anxiety. And I had a few moments where they almost came through, but shout-outs to two people. First, to Ian Weber, who came up to me, and Ian, I think that you've probably got a little bit of that anxiety yourself. I want to thank you for your very kind words and the fact that you gave me just a little bit more of that push. And also to Micah Plandaya. Michael, you are super handsome, super cute, and the fact that you wanted accessory advice from me on how to tie a sash, I cannot tell you how big of a freaking compliment that is, man. And thank you for that. That was another solid push. You guys are awesome, and that's how I made it through the meetup, up until the stampede at the end where everybody was coming up to the front at once. And I just...
To get a signature from Aaron.
To get a signature from Aaron on the shark punching. And that's when I just kind of went, I'm going outside and having a cigarette.
By the way, Aaron might downplay it. I can't allow him to do that. He was overwhelmed at that.
Oh yeah, no.
He was having a moment.
No, it was really. But this is also a year that now RPPR is a multi-Emmy award-winning podcast.
Yeah, we have. Just in case you didn't see the constant posts of Ross and Caleb, RPPR won the silver this year for second best podcast.
And let's be honest, the winners are Kenneth freaking Height and Robin freaking Laws. Losing to Ken and Robin is tantamount to finding out that you just missed out on getting the best actress because Meryl Streep took it home. You're losing to the best. You have absolutely no regrets about that. Ken and Robin, you guys are awesome, and we are so happy to get the silver.
But next year we're going to kick your ass. You're going down in a perfectly wonderful, happy way, but we're going to get gold again because we're awesome.
Well, we're going to try.
No, and it's going to be totally rage, and it's going to be like Fury Road. We get the silver next year. We're going to scream mediocre, and then paint our mouths chrome with the cake glaze.
Some specific games that I got a chance to play though that I want to give shout outs for are I never played Channel A before, so I didn't realize it was 6 to 8 hours of Channel A animation with rotating casts.
Yes.
The group was huge.
And not only was the group huge, but so was the cooler of alcohol.
I wish I'd been there.
About that. Yeah. So
you were well endowed with boozahol.
I was.
We were, and thank you, Jen and George, for that. And also, special thanks to Dave. If I can take 2 seconds after your Channel A.
I was just going to say, Channel A started with 4, but it grew, shrunk, grew again, and yeah. And for those of you who put up with me when I was at my worst drunk, thank you, and I apologize.
Well, we hiked to a Steak and Shake. We did what we do with all drunk people.
Pretty much.
And
I didn't realize Steak and Shake had magical powers. I had suspected, but yeah, no hangover.
Yeah. What the fuck do you think I've been telling you all the... I worked there, man.
Dude, I just had never gone there.
Well, dude, come on. We remember the floor shows.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
But no, this was... I think we were the floor show that time. No, but,
that was a change, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Actually, just a tiny bit. But what was fun with that... I ran into yet another sassy black woman who loved my fingernails, and I told her, I am so sorry, we're bringing a couple of drunks in, but we're trying to sober up, and she goes, that's all right, baby, we get this all the time. I know what to do. Yeah. And I think that was when she went back in the back, put on the headdress, and started speaking the ritual words. but
or just let's make some wake up juice,
or that. But special shout out to Dave on that one. I learned from this gentleman that not only was this his first Gen Con, but this was definitely going to be a first meeting for a lot of us, and he went to certain lengths. He drove an hour out of his way and dropped $100 on some of his favorite local high-end beers, and he brought those just to share with us.
It was an actual beer tasting every night. So.
Every night. And Dave, that was amazingly wonderful.
Above and beyond.
I am not a beer drinker. We kind of know this. I tend to drink ciders and the hard stuff. Love me some Kraken. But that gesture is not lost. And I just want to make sure that you get the proper recognition for that. Thank you, man. That was awesome.
All right, so I think we should go into... well, I know the dealer room wasn't quite what it is, but let's go into... Like, I think we should go into stuff...
People did find things.
But I think we should go to the stuff that we want to give actual physical shout-outs to.
Oh, yeah, physical shout-outs as opposed to...
So, my first is actually an artist. Gavin Smith, he is a kind of a comic-style artist. He is a comic artist. He does a lot of different artwork for some comics. He has his own comic, which I highly recommend you check out. And I bought 5 prints from him for some of his various art, and he also did 3 commissions for me on the site. And all of them were amazing, but I think the last one is something truly amazing because he posted it on his blog and said, I didn't think much of this commission when I first got it this morning, but now that I'm halfway through it, I think this might be the coolest thing I've ever drawn. Which was basically a lizard person, big muscular lizard person firing an M60.
Because Tom.
Because of me. Because Tom likes that kind of thing. But no, seriously, he does commissions. He's got great artwork. I'm gonna link to his link to his website. You should if you want commissions or if you're playing a game on character art, he'd be a guy to go to, and his prices are totally reasonable. Love the guy.
All right.
That's my first. David, how about you?
I'm looking for the actual name on it, but I'll go for a different one instead. I picked up a bag of holding satchel. It's heavy canvas. It lives up to its name. It actually holds a lot of stuff really well, and I actually got to stop carrying around my water bottle on a string and was able to put the water bottle in the special water bottle holder on this particular bag. Gen Con did not give away their El Cheapos, and I'll admit that the bags will last most of the way through the con, sometimes, but if you're expecting something to put swag in, and they just kind of, well, we didn't do that this year because reasons, you kind of need a good shoulder bag. So I highly recommend Off-World Designs, the bag of holding bags. They're really, really good.
All right. Greg, how about you? Anything you want to give a links shout out to?
Indie Press Revolution and Indie Game Developer Network. I got a fistful of role-playing games from them, but in particular, I love me some good woodwork, and there were 2 woodworking vendors that I visited and bought stuff from. Probably spent more money than I should have, but I can't walk away from a good wood carving.
You can't walk away.
I got a good dice container from Dogmite Games that I'm going to give as a gift to the gentleman who's currently running our weekend 7C game. And Hrothgar's Horde, I got a dice container from them. Not so fancy on the carvings, Hrothgar's Horde, but still excellent woodwork, and I'm glad they don't lacquer the wood too much because I do love the smell of cedar.
Nice. Shawnatron?
Okay, it's not something I bought, but it'll get mentioned again, because we're not fully sharing notes on this right now. Michelle bought a fantastic game, which apparently, when we were playing it, it did raise a few eyebrows. So, God Hates Charades. They had a whole booth, and it's basically, you draw a character, you draw a very particular and frankly dirty situation. And, right. What was the one that got your attention again at the next table over, David?
I believe that was Super Mario having an orgasm while at work.
Multiple orgasms.
So Sean was acting as though he was really enjoying stomping on those turtles.
A lot.
A lot.
And it was just a fantastic game. As long as you've got, a group of people who are willing to just go there and some space, because playing that in a smaller space is really difficult.
Yeah.
You really got to pantomime it to get across the character and the situation. And some of them are just, how do you even, it's like a paragraph on the card for what you're supposed to be describing.
Well, yeah, one of the ones that I had that I was able to do in a small space was Mr. T punches a hole in the wall and then covers it up with a painting.
Right. See,
you can do that with just barely a turn, but if you're Super Mario and you're working, how exactly are you going to jump up and down on turtles?
Right. I didn't want to bounce on the seat and to have to describe things in that frankly offensive accent. So, but it's a great game. It's good. It's good. Not so clean fun. And if you're prone to overacting, it's perfect.
Oh dear, David.
And I do have one more.
Actually, I got one more too.
Okay.
Sorry, another artist. I got two more, so I don't have mine back to back to back.
Round two, fight.
Okay,
Round two.
Next one is another artist who lived in Springfield for a while, and she has a Corey Bing. She has a webcomic called Skin Deep.
Oh, that's right. She was there.
Mm-hmm. I went to her booth, chatted her up. Actually, got hard copies of her webcomic, so I'm very happy with that. She even she was doing little sketch drawings for tips.
Mm-hmm.
Any character you want, she'll do a little quick sketch drawing. But I've been following her webcomic for a long time, and it was kind of really cool to meet her. And hopefully we exchanged business cards, and she apparently loves being on podcasts. Ooh. So I'm going to try to interview her in the near future, because I think her Skin Deep is all about mythical creatures hiding among people. That it's got a huge RPG potential.
It does.
It really does. That was really amazing to meet her. Okay, David, what you got? What else you got?
Well, I also had a fairly nice meetup. Turns out that Howard Taylor of Schlock Mercenary fame was staying in our hotel.
Okay.
And so there was one morning when I heard his voice behind me on the way in, and he had said, "Yeah, it seems like eat, sleep, booth, that's all I've been doing." And I got to strike up a conversation with him. Talked about Planet Mercenary and what he's going through on that and the development of it. And also chatted with him about red markets and the success of the Kickstarter so far, and just really had a nice time talking with Howard. Howard Taylor is a really, really wonderful man, and the comic has been going for quite a long time too.
Mm-hmm. Nice. You got anything else?
Yeah, two things bouncing off the God Hates Charades things. Another party game that I didn't play, but I saw the concept at the booth and I was sold on it almost immediately. Red Flags from the same people who made Super Fight.
I saw
yeah, two choices, two sets of cards are dealt, one positive attribute and two negative attributes, and the players have to choose which of the two individuals is the preferable date. And I don't remember any of the positive attributes, but negative attributes range from literally constantly picking their nose, or things like shouts "fuck you" every time they see a baby.
Wow.
That's really specific.
That's kind of close to home. No,
I think I'm going to go for the nose picker on that one.
Yeah.
And second thing, I already had this I got this the weekend before going up to the con, but Phoenix Dawn Command, the Kickstarter finally shipped, and I was able to bring my hard copy up and get it signed by one of the co-designers, Keith Baker, the publisher, Jen Ellis, stretch goal contributors, the aforementioned Kenneth Height and Robin Laws, and three of the official playtesters who were there running demos and giving props to the game.
Nice.
Super nice people.
Cool.
All of them.
Nice.
So I'll drop one last product. It's not a product yet. It was a playtest that David, Greg, and myself were involved in, along with a bunch of other people.
Oh, yes.
RPPR. I believe the name of it was Odd Roads. David, care to explain more?
Michael Pandaya put this one together.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael, I hope I am saying your name right. If I'm not, I apologize. But the concept of it was that the geography is now fluid. We basically get to determine where the road is and where the world is, by driving big rig trucks over it, Mad Max style. And so, as a group of players, we get to design our not only our truck, but all of the different Mad Max-ish implements on it. And we had a lot of fun with that. I mean, it was amazing fun, and I want to see this finished product.
The idea of it, just the way that it was executed was insanely creative. It was awesome. It was just wonderful. I'd love to see a finished product on that. More play tests of it, obviously. It was a fantastic experience. And besides, we coined a catchphrase?
Yes, we did. All right, guys, before we go out there and split up, we're going to need to come up with a decent password.
Screw you! This is Curtis!
All right. So our password is, this is Curtis. Does everybody copy?
But you weren't Curtis. You were false Curtis.
Well, I was Curtis as far as you're concerned. So
for the sake of this argument.
So, for about the next how many hours of game, every time we were on
I lost track of
3 or 4
time.
hours?
I was having so much fun with it.
There were like 7 or 8 of us just shouting, "This is Curtis," followed by whatever we were trying to say.
If I had been there, you know what I would have done? Curtis!
Oh, yeah. That's actually why I picked the name Curtis for
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and the very first one of them, Jen, I love you so much, but please identify giant centipedes. Again, please identify. Run! Please identify. This is Curtis. Giant centipedes. Prepare for giant centipedes.
Yeah.
Is every game I play with you guys going to involve megapedes?
Probably, yes.
Maybe.
It's a thing.
Hey, but you might get really friendly, cute ants.
Hey, this is what we found out, though. There's good eating on them.
Oh, yeah.
We had us a centipede
And they make
barbecue.
good hood ornaments.
Call them land lobsters. Okay. So,
And finally, I have the one RPG I actually bought the shit out of.
Mm-hmm.
Mutant Year Zero.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's Ross actually. I mean, he didn't even go through the the RPPR chat. He texted me directly, Tom. There's a game you have to go buy. It's basically after the bomb, but not Palladium.
Cool.
And it's Mutant Year Zero, where it's after the apocalypse, and boy, they don't fuck around with the apocalypse. It's like there's almost no survivors on the surface anymore.
but you didn't have to do the GURPS adaptation after all.
Well, I didn't know about that. Well, actually, no. The new release they had, that book had been out for a while. The Mutant Year Zero. We were playing humans who had been experimented on before the war. You're born this way to survive in a unstable world. But then the world ended, and now you're all that's left. Mm-hmm. But no, they have a new book out, which was I forget the name of it now. But yeah, they have an expansion book now, and it's a big, thick expansion of mutant animals now.
Ooh.
And they're a whole different thing, but the game is all about, surviving and building an enclave.
Nice.
Or I'm sorry, building an ark. The enclaves are actually where the unmutated bridge people hid away before the war. They're actually horrible, evil people.
Cool. So we need to nuke the enclaves. But
there's nothing left to nuke them with. They used all of them.
There's always something to nuke them with, Tom.
But what I love is
you can nuke them with kindness.
But what I love is
kindness the name of a new firebomb, Sean?
No, just be really nice to them. What?
It's we'll kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
But no, what I love is the currency of the game is bullets.
Okay.
So yes, you need them as currency, but you also need them to shoot.
Okay.
So you've it's got to budget your bullets, which are basically more valuable. It's food and bullets. Food, water, bullets are the most valuable things you can ever possibly find.
So
and I love the rules for the building an ark.
Nice.
So all right. So anyone else got any shout outs they want to make before we go on to the
Pendragon Costumes. They were the place where I found that super awesome new vest, the one that's got the tails. The tails.
David, you just want people to stare at your butt.
Yes?
Okay.
Is that so bad?
No, I'm just establishing this.
Yes, sir. They stared at him directly in the buttocks.
Well, I don't have as much butt
Don't spit on the
anymore.
mic.
I really want to make you work for it. I mean...
No. I'm just giving you credit.
He worked hard for his ass.
No, it's working away.
So,
but I think we should end off here because I think what we got planned. What did we learn? What are we going to plan for next year? Obviously not as a whole group, just us individually.
Well, I got a chance to meet up with a hell of a lot of wonderful, wonderful people. And there were a hell of a lot of wonderful, wonderful people that I didn't get a chance to. So there are some people I may hit up directly and go, okay, what are you doing? I want to do something with you.
Yeah, and that's what that really is. It's 90% of what makes Gen Con amazing is just all the people we're going there with.
Yeah, and biggest regrets, not getting a chance to spend time with everybody because not enough hours in the day, and I tried.
It's probably physically impossible to do. So you almost have to ration your time there with who you're going to spend it with.
Yeah, and even at that, some of them are bad rations, and I will freely admit that. Last year, I had a chance to play Liar's Dice with Adam and Laura, and I missed it, mainly because of anxiety and everything else. This year, I played Liar's Dice with Adam and Laura and loved every second of it. And I will do this again and again. Jeb was there, Caleb was there. It turned into a great game, that one.
Yeah, I know I will be going to this as long as I exist and it exists.
Yes.
There is not a year I will miss.
Yeah, and Richard, Noah, and Ivan, I didn't get a chance to spend as much time. But we did go drinking and we hit a steak and shake, which... That's a bonding experience if there is one.
And also, Jen and George had a great time with them, and we'll actually be seeing them in an outside of Gen Con way next March.
Most definitely.
Holy crap!
Me and Sean will. We'll be heading to the East Coast, and this is right in their turf.
Very nice.
So, WordCon's like, prepare yourself, we're coming, bitches, and we're bringing us, which is totally not scary.
No, not really
at all. It's almost adorable, actually.
Top of the mountain for me was getting to meet up with the One Shot podcast crew after their Saturday panel. I believe Ross was there briefly too. Got to talk LARP shop with Alex Roberts. Got some accent coaching advice from James D'Amato. Just a fantastically nice bunch of people, and I stayed there as late as I could possibly stand it. Even got to talk to some just regular gamers and fans and play a round of noisy person cards. Really
that's a fun one.
Yeah, really good night. I scored the first point.
Nice.
Awesome. Woot.
Cannibal Goat Men for the win.
And Sean, our virgin.
Well, okay,
no longer. You are a man now.
I'll definitely coming back. Might plan a few more events, few more play tests.
Now that things are a little more.
Yeah, and I'll make just a simple statement. I have not been name dropping people, and I don't mean to be rude. It's just if I start, I'm going to have to keep going through all the names because everybody was amazing, and I'd probably get all misty and stuff while doing it. So I'm just going to back off there.
Yeah.
You know who you are. Thank you for putting up with my bullshit. So
I still got a couple of names that I would drop, but we're running out of time.
So let's just do it the way they did it in knowing all those numbers ending in EE. Everyone else.
There we go. So
yeah, I just dropped a Nicolas Cage movie, guys. Deal with it.
I'm not surprised, Tom.
So all right, well, this has been Gen Con 2016, which we'll have put you on hold until Gen Con 2017 when we're really going to tear the shit up, right?
Oh hell yeah!
I was going to tear it up a little bit less, to be honest.
Okay, a little more calm, a little more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
All right.
We got to bring our A game. This was C game at best, Sean.
More panels.
I meant pace myself.
All
right.
Pacing, yeah. Pacing,
good. Yeah, we had Gen Con 2016 was an awesome time. Met some of the best fans and friends one could ever have, and also the Hyatt. Love the way you redesigned your lobby. Much more comfy now.
Although it's really weird. I have an easier time finding Wi-Fi in Springfield, Missouri than I did in downtown Indianapolis.
That is weird.
Yeah. What the hell is up with that?
Well, okay, Indianapolis.
Well, I found Wi-Fi in our hotel, but it was going to be $15 a day. So no.
Yeah, so
they were all charged.
Indianapolis, you're an awesome city. I love going to you. If you maybe just work on your Wi-Fi problem, it'd be perfect.
Right.
Otherwise, thanks, Indy. Awesome town. And this has been RPPR. We shall see you guys next year.
And until then, just remember, we love you all.
And Curtis.
Here.
This is Curtis.
Signing out.